No stalling. No stalling this stream. If you guys are ready, we're locking in. For what we're locking in, I have no idea. But you guys can shut up. Something crazy. I sent you the music again so you don't have to. Bless you. Bless you. All right. You guys, oh wait, I already have it open. I got you, I have it open. All right, let's play the music. I am excited to read this. Double music. I am excited to see where this volume goes. I am excited to see Amon's real body. Wait, hold up. In not a pervy way. I am excited to see Amon's real body, right? I'm excited to see what's going on with the whole, like, I'll take your fate, blah, 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 you know. Like, I'm excited to see if he's good, bad. Somebody left a comment, is he good or bad? Yes. That was a pretty funny reply. I like that. That's like, I can neither confirm nor deny, and I took my chips out of my room. That's okay. We don't need to eat because today we're going to be fueling ourselves off the excitement and energy of this read-through. That being said, chapter 1160. Well, my voice cracked a little bit. Join VC. All right. Right now, it's called Improving, as we improve and catching up to the finale of the stream. Tell her what happened in today's chapter so she would understand. No. I want her to eventually watch this and read this. But I will. Sometimes I'll be like, oh my God, and then Klein did this. And then she's like, fuck are you talking about? She's like, I don't get it. I'm like, all right, I can't spoil her because she don't get it. Yeah, go right now and keep it in the background. Bet. We're changing our ship. Hey, man. I just copied and pasted what popped up as a Chinese hashtag under an LTM picture. I didn't know I was typing Leonard X Klein or Klein on top of. I didn't know what I was copying and pasting. All right, don't judge me for that. Klein X Amon better. Hey, the ship cannot sell for that. That being said, chapter 1160 is called Improving. All right, awesome. Wait, my timestamps are so jiffy. Let's fix that. It was so funny when Valley corrected that, dude. All right, we're reading. Chapter 1160 is called City of Silver at the Top of the Spire. After waiting for a long time, Derek still didn't receive a response from Mr. Full. Oh, he's worried. This made him panic a little. He didn't understand what this meant, nor did he know how to deal with it. Mr. Full is in a state where he can respond to his prayers. Yes, he informed us 2 days ago that gathered next week would be cancelled. This should be a sign. Having recalled what happened previously, Derek barely managed to calm his anxiety and nervousness. He couldn't be blamed for having such a huge reaction because the City of Silver's textbooks recorded similar situations. The creator who normally responded to his believers suddenly stopped responding and forsook this land. I'm gonna try and read like at a not too slow pace, but not too fast pace, so I can digest this. After a few seconds of silence, Derek stood up and returned to the room where the chief was. He said to Colin Iliad, "We have to wait a few more days." Wait, Demon Hunter Colin repeated the keywords as he frowned slightly. From his point of view, this was an unusual matter, seemingly symbolizing a bad development. Derek resisted his instinctive reaction of scattering the back of his head, and he nodded with some difficulty. Yes. The grizzled Colin Iliad stared at him for a few seconds before nodding slowly. All right, head back first. These are the abandoned LTM notes. We have abandoned LTM notes. Oh. Backland Eastboro, inside a 2-bedroom rental apartment, Forrest, who had wrapped in thick cloth, paced around the warm stove, her face full of doubt. Finally, she turned her head and looked at Shio. Why hasn't Mr. World replied? Oh, everybody's stressing out. Perhaps he's preoccupied with something. Shio explained the reason she had long considered. Perhaps it's because it's not convenient for Mr. Full to pass on your prayers. He has to temporarily pause the gathering. Forrest nodded thoughtfully and said, Mr. Full informed us that the gathering will be temporarily paused next week. It was only decided in the middle of the week. Is this related to George III? Recalling Mr. World's investigations all this time, Shio acknowledged and said, very likely in the forsaken lands of gods in the dead silent city, dressed in a classical magic robe. All right, here we go. Amon Klein is like, finally, we're back. Also, chat is out of the screen, I think. I can fix that. I got you. All right, everything should be good. All our technical difficulties have been sorted. And the forsaken lands of gods in the dead silent city, dressed in a classical black magic robe, Amon led Klein into a relatively complete cathedral. Segmented stone pillars lay tilted, and the dark red weeds grew out from their cracks, wrapped around in avene sculptures. With the animal hide lantern in hand, Klein surveyed the area and confirmed that the residents of the city weren't truly dead. There were still a few survivors left. He had no idea what this. So this isn't the City of Silver. This is somewhere else. There were still a few survivors left. He had no idea what method they had used to transform into monsters of the deep darkness. They were hiding from the faint yellow light surrounding a cathedral in a place that couldn't be seen. They wanted to attack the two ordinary-looking humans, Klein and Amon. The reason why Klein was able to confirm that these monsters were originally residents of this city was because their spirit body threads had a certain abnormality. Some were grayish white, some were distorted, and some were sticky. They were completely different from the monsters elsewhere. They greatly resemble the corpses inside the coffins. I don't know what kind of despair and mental breakdowns will make the remaining humans choose such a path. Perhaps the deep sense of despair was that they couldn't see hope on a daily basis while the situation around him worsened. With a sigh, he made use of this opportunity to adjust his mentality. He was experiencing various instances of hope surfacing only to be met with despair time and time again. The moleculed Amon walked to the edge of the light and walked all the way into the deepest part of the cathedral. Klein followed behind and saw a door covered in a pale white light. This city is actually split into two parts, light and darkness. They're using certain abilities of the apprentice pathway to hide a portion of this area. They have to use a specific door to enter, Amon said as he pointed ahead. A secret sorcerer's power with some realization. Klein nodded, indicating that he knew what was going on. I don't know what's going on. Amon then said, behind this door is the dark side of this city. I can use it to connect to a similar region far away. We can directly arrive there and shorten our journey. It's a, what the fuck? Okay. It's a different city that had residents that turned into monsters. Okay, this is hype. As expected of the incarnation of loopholes, Klein... It's wild. As expected of the incarnation of loopholes, Klein watches Amon stretch out his left hand and press down on the door formed from a pale white light. He's airing the door. I'm gonna be, heads up, bro. I'm gonna be so lost in the future when he's airing shit. I can't even understand. Yo, good use of that clown emoji. By the way, you guys can do that for $1. Please report so that he gets a ban. Amon is a hacker. Yes, please report him on if he's a hacker. Dude, I'm gonna keep it real with you guys. I'm gonna be pretty lost in the future if this shit gets really complicated with Amon. But I'm gonna do my best to follow for now. The light began to ripple as it rapidly spread outwards, becoming more and more intense. At that moment, a deformed monster hiding in the depths of darkness while spying the cathedral suddenly trembled, becoming Klein's marionette. 20 or 30 seconds ago, Klein had already completed the process of obtaining initial control over it and depends on his influence. However, he waited until now before he completely converted it. Okay, right now on the heels, you'll understand, 6,000 IQ. Right, I hope, man. I hope fate is on our side when it comes to the comprehension devil. Right on the heels of that, Klein and the marionette reach out of their hands at the same time. They took advantage of the opportunity when Amon changed the door and they grabbed something. In his hand was something in the shape of a full moon. It was embedded scarlet lunar corona. In his hand was something in the shape of a full moon. It was embedded with a scarlet gemstone, the scarlet lunar corona. In his marionette's hand was an ancient brass-colored master key. Oh shit, the key. At the same time, they are the ancient city of Gregorus. Wait, hold up. Before I read that, I don't think that's a spoiler. Master key? Okay. Wait, hold up. Before I read that, Mick. Wait, hold up. Just to be safe. Because I technically don't know what city it is yet. Wait, no. Do I? At the same time, they opened their mouths and made a bang sound. They use the air cannons to push the Scarlet Lunar Corona and the Master Key to the Door of Light. The two, it's from last chapter. Oh, okay, thank you. They are from the ancient, you forgot? Yeah, I know, it's been like 2 days, right? They are in the ancient city of Gregorans. It's from last stream. Okay, thank you. Okay, they are in the ancient city of Gregorans followers. The ancient god of death with the apprentice. Got it with the apprentice characteristics. When he changed. Yes, he changed. At the same time, they opened their mouths and made a bang sound. Oh, I see what you did with their username. Bang sound. They used air cannons to push the Scarlet Lunar Coronas and the Master Key to the door light. Okay? These two items combined could make one hear Mr. Door's pleas for help. This also meant that Mr. Door's powers could enter the real world to a limited extent. And this was the controller of all doors. He was the one of the existences who was most unwilling to see Amon because an error or control Sephira Castle. Klein didn't expect that the sealed Mr. Door could really hurt Amon. He only hoped that he could use this opportunity to interfere with the Angel of Time and create a good enough opportunity for him. I don't think that's gonna work, dude. He's gonna use everything at his disposal and it's not gonna work. Of course, if Mr. Door could cause any abnormal changes to the door, magnifying or distorting the loopholes created by Amon, thus affecting the King of Angels, the Marauder pathway, and teleporting him far away, Klein would definitely sincerely thank Mr. Door for only 1 week. After having previous attempts, Klein realized that his greatest disadvantage, it wasn't that he was one sequence shorter and had a qualitative gap in power level. Instead, he had lost the initiative and couldn't make proper preparations. Every time he began preparing, he would be interrupted or foiled by Amon. For a veteran magician, unprepared performers were often synonymous with failure. Oh, that's true. He's not a prepared magician. If he could make preparations in advance, he could quietly summon Mr. Zix, Renette Tankers, and Snake of Fate, Will Ossipton's historical projections against a sequence 2, or even if there was no way to deal with him, it would definitely create a very good opportunity to escape. At that moment, the Scarlet Lunar Corona, an ancient looking master key, whistled through the air and arrived at the door of light. The white light that formed the illusionary door distorted and devoured the two items. It was dyed in crimson as it collapsed into the whirlpool. It was as though the bottom of the vortex was invisible like a gigantic eye. Just as Amon was about to turn around, he made a slight pause as if he had heard an old friend shout. However, this pause disappeared instantly as though it had never happened. With Amon's gaze directed at Klein, the latter instantly lost 6 beyond her powers. This literally just take everything away from him. And you say, literally take away everything, dude. This included, speaking of a fucking eye, I noticed, bro. I never brought it up. But in the fucking Donghua, when Klein comes back to life, there was one horizontal red eye. I never caught that, but I caught it. There was like one red eye. I'm like, and it wasn't the True Creator's eye, right? It wasn't vertical. It was a regular horizontal vertical eye. And I'm like, what the does that mean? Because I don't remember seeing a red eye, or I don't remember reading a description of red eye associated with Klein. I'm like, I don't know what they're adding or what's going to happen in the future, but I'm hype. All right, so let's see his 6th. Never caught that, but I caught it. Yes, you caught it. But I did catch it. I never caught it, but I caught it. Okay, so 6 lost abilities. This included the control of Spearby Threads, okay? The summoning of the historical void projections, paper figuring substitutes, flame controlling, underwater breathing, and bone softening. It literally took away all his good powers. Of course, losing these 6 beyond her powers for a marionette didn't affect Klein's subsequent operations. The indescribable pause from before had allowed Klein to switch places with his marionette in time. He had arrived deep into the darkness outside the cathedral. The deformed monsters around him trembled and turned into his marionettes. For targets such as these, they weren't even sequence 5. It took only 2 or 3 seconds for Klein to transform them into marionettes. And by the time he summoned the Scarlet Lunar Corona, he had already begun doing similar actions. As he endured the darkness without any scorpies, something, he attempted to transform into a concealed state or successfully commit. He's literally trying to kill himself and successfully commit unaliving. At the same time, he reached out with his marionettes to grab the fog interwoven with history. This time, he split the marionette into 3 groups, summoning Renette, Mr. Zik, Snake of Fate, Will Ossipton, respectively. He didn't want to follow his past mistakes where he had managed to succeed with great difficulty, only to have them taken away by Amon. With such arrangements, he might be left with 1 or 2. Of course, the premise was that Amon was unable to steal multiple historical void projections at once. This was something that Klein needed to confirm. Klein retracted his hand, but he didn't grab anything. All the marionettes who summoned the Snake of Fate failed, okay? Amon, the scholar of your groups who summoned Death Console and Renette Tanker, 2 of them had the arms tense up slightly, a little bit. Klein was delighted as he suddenly felt that this attempt could end up turning into a real escape attempt. Oh shit. At this moment, the crystal molecule that Amon wore emitted a what is with this light? It emitted a terrifying light. I'm seeing a lot of light in this volume. The entire city, including the surrounding rivers, hills, and wilderness, were all filled with pure, scorching sunlight. Day had once again descended. He brought light back. Had once again descended upon this land after bidding farewell to it for 1,000. Wait, he just brought the sun back? Had once again descended upon this land after bidding farewell for it 1,000s of years. Amon had stolen the day from the ruins of the Battle of Gods. In the face of such a day, not only did Klein feel like his body was about to melt, but he had also heard familiar and crazy ravings in his ear. They were like the steel needles that pierced through every warm spirit. This caused his mind to be filled with immense pain. His marionette summoning attempt had failed while on the brink of succeed. I'm sorry, is Amon supposed to be the light seeker because he keeps using light? He did steal it before. No, this is the second time he's done like the whole light thing. But I assume, okay, Amon is a light seeker. That has to be what it is. Oh, okay. Wait, I'm sensing something. Who knows? All right. The day in the battlefield of the gods contained the true creator's raving. Oh, that's why he's hearing the ravings. The deformed monsters that were hiding deep in the darkness, which were very few survivors of the city, seemed to temporarily regain their senses. They stared blankly at the day and couldn't help but narrow their eyes. Then they wildly charged towards the door. the source of that day melting one by one into dust. Far away in the City of Silver's afternoon town campsite, the guards at the stronghold also noticed that there was a light coming from the northwest. It was different from lighting, just like the scene of the sun rising from the legends. Oh, they see it. This scene only lasted for a few seconds before it shattered and the sky returned to its dark state. As soon as he recovered from the ravings, Klein saw the pointed-headed Amon standing in front of him. This angel of time nudged his monocle and smiled. Well done. Ooh, now he's being entertained. All right. Today we are all gas and no brakes. Is that the saying? All gas, no brakes? Chapter 1161 is called Countdown. It's like, well done. I've now been entertained. Well done. Faced with Amon's praise, Klein forced a smile and politely replied, thank you. To be honest, he preferred... Lower the volume just a smidge. To be honest, he preferred to hear curses rather than praise, as this meant that he was close to succeeding. Of course, Klein suspected that even if he managed to escape, Amon wouldn't be flustered and exasperated. Based on the character displayed by this god of mischief, it was very likely that he'd found it interesting and exciting while also inevitably feeling a little depressed and disappointed to the point of being eager for the next round. It's a huge improvement to be able to think of using the door to disrupt me. Amon smiled indifferently, but don't you think that I'd be in a relatively more vigilant state while door opening, and that it's actually not that easy to be affected by an accident? After some thought, Klein answered seriously, that's what I thought in the beginning, but later on I felt that you should be able to grasp my state of mind, believing that I would dare to act when you open the door. When that happens, making an attempt might work wonders. Literally, I think you think I'm gonna do this. That's literally what he said. Doing it when others believe that you wouldn't do it was also a strategy. In his previous life, Klein had come into contact with games that had such a higher level of thinking that made his spin. What if I thought of this level as well? Amon said with a smile as he used his knuckle to nudge the bottom of his monocle. At the same time, the remaining marionettes, which were still alive, took out crystal monocles out of thin air and wore them on their right eye. All of them cast their gaze at Klein. Oh shit. This left Klein's scalp tingling. He discovered the connection between the marionettes and himself had instantly been severed. You have outsmarted my outsmarting. That made his spin is crazy. Although you've improved, failure still demands some level of punishment. With a smile, Amon turned around and walked towards the cathedral. As he took a step forward, the marionettes revealed smiles one after another as they collapsed to the ground stiffly. This caused Klein's soul to be torn apart again and again as the blood vessels on his forehead visibly bulged. Ugh. An asshole, dude. Yo, what's up, Romero? I have re-emerged from hibernation. Welcome back, dude. What's up, dude? Today should hopefully be a long stream. As he endured the pain, dude, what's up, man? It's been a while, dude. As he endured the pain, he stood reared to the ground and calmed down after a long while. During this process, although they have always been in the depths of darkness, he didn't suffer any attacks from the terrifying monster, nor did he turn into a concealed state. Fear not, for I am here. What's up, dude? Oh, this is hype, dude. When did Amon steal the concealment powers in this city? If I had tried to commit unaliving... Shit, dude, you're almost done, Wiz. I hear you're almost at volume 8. Oh shit, the sidekick is here. Wiz is the sidekick. When did Amon steal the concealment powers in this city? If I had tried to commit unaliving, I definitely wouldn't have had the thought stolen from me. My preparations still aren't enough. I don't have enough confidence when dealing with Amon, having not considered the thing. He might have stolen it into consideration. Oh my god, there's so much stealing, dude. I really didn't expect him to release the day that he stole from the ruins of the Battlefield of Gods. Regarding what else he stole in the past or whatever he has on him, I have no idea. Oh my goodness. Okay, I can't make targeted preparations. That monocle is some sort of vessel used to store stolen items, or is it a part of Amon to begin with? So every time he parasitized someone, a monocle will be taken out. Klein rubbed his temples and walked into the cathedral, looking at Amon before the door of light. He asked, seemingly casual, why do you have so many monocles? Where do you usually place them? Where the fuck does he put all the monocles, dude? Amon stroked the monocle on his right eye and smiled indifferently. Why don't you ask me why every avatar of mine has eyes, and where do I usually place them? True. I understand. Klein nodded in enlightenment. Amon cast his gaze back at the door of light and had yet to calm down from the rippling. He casually said, I have the nagging feeling that this operation of yours is a major preparation piece and not an attempt. That's literally what he did. What cheap trick did you pull off during this process? After some deliberation, Klein replied with a smile. Guess. Ooh, he's fucking around with him, dude. Do I know you, unknown? Maybe. Arthur, no beef. Yeah, we love everybody. I do have some guesses. Do you think I've guessed it correctly? Amon asked with interest, and he pinched the edge of his monocle. Perhaps, or perhaps not. Ooh, now he's playing with him. Klein didn't give a clear answer as he cooperatively walked to Amon's side. He saw him reach out again and press down on the pale white door of light. Above the door of light, ripples appeared once again as they became more intense and exaggerated. After about 10 seconds, the ripples spread the surroundings, causing the door light to expand twice in size. Amon glanced at Klein, gesturing for him to take a deep step forward. Klein instinctively turned his head and looked around the cathedral. Beyond their characteristics left behind, the mutated monsters were shimmering outside the area and the lanterns had lit up. They weren't all Beyonders who were still alive. After those ordinary people turned into monsters, a large part of the power came from the darkness and degeneration. Damn, okay. The powers didn't belong to them, so no characteristics were purged. I almost forgot. After taking a look together with Klein, Amon suddenly shook his head and smiled. Just as he finished his sentence, a bunch of Beyonder characteristics floated up and entered his body. He just sucks them all up. They merged with him, leaving only a small portion behind. Most of the people who choose to transform into monsters are of the apprentice pathway. Why? Most people who choose to transform into monsters are of the apprentice pathway. Beyonders and their family members who can enter the city's dark side, Amon said casually, and he retracted his gaze. Even if a similar... Well, I'm sorry, so what pathway would it be for the light side? Even if it's a similar pathway beyond our characteristic, it would be problematic if it's directly eaten, right? Shouldn't it only be possible to jump at a higher level of a neighboring pathway? It's also the accommodation of lore sequences. Seeing this, Klein was a little stunned and asked curiously, won't this accumulate madness? Probably not for him, he don't care. This wasn't just a matter of accumulating madness. Klein suspected that if he did it himself, there was a high chance that he would go crazy. Bro, we already have a light pathway? Bard? No, what's, I don't know how to get to the City of Light. Well, what was it? The city split into two sides, the dark side and the light side. I bet you don't remember me, was? I remember everybody. Others will. Amon said with a smile, but not to me. A true bug. Definitely a true cyber bug. Klein couldn't help but sigh inwardly. Then the distance between him and the door of light disappeared. Subconsciously, he forgot about the remaining death's pathway beyond her characteristics, and he entered the mutated door of the light with Amon. Endless darkness and squirming lights of light were mixed together, giving rise to the feelings of a sudden descent. About 10 seconds later, he discovered that he and Amon had appeared on the square, okay? The dim yellow light of the animal hide lantern seemed to be stopped by an invisible force, causing it to only illuminate half the square. Lightning streaked across the sky, illuminating the surroundings. With the help of lightning, Klein saw several incomplete statues erected around the square. They either had their heads tied to their backs, had their bodies entangled with a thorny rose, or looked like mummies. They gave off the feeling of being restrained. This city first believed in the mutated king. Like a qualified tour guide, Amon introduced the situation of each scenic site to Klein. They were very interesting. These usually restrained and quiet, just like ascetics. However, once they encounter the prey, or in special moments in time, they would release a bloodthirsty desire to kill. You can imagine that on the night of the full moon, this is a city where werewolves roam. From the looks of it, the mutants originally had the concept of temperance. Later on, it was led to astray by the mother of true desire. I wonder how she's going to come back. Using new rounds of lightning, Klein took a few more looks and asked thoughtfully, the mutated king's image is close to that of a mummy? No, although he is an ugly and twisted man, he likes to entangle himself with thorny roses. Thorny roses? Amon scoffed. Klein took this opportunity to ask, what kind of idols will your believers worship? In mysticism, your symbol is a cloak and a worm of time, okay? Amon scratched his chin and said, in theory, my believers are all me. Holy shit. I don't need to trouble myself with building an idol. My believers are all me. Holy shit. Somebody said, what if the theory was he literally turned his entire family into him? Thankfully, I have a blessed like the nits now. Klein suddenly realized that he was quite similar to Amon in certain aspects. Of course, when I say my believers myself, it's a funny story. When Amon said my believers are all me, it becomes a horror novel. The difference in style is quite huge. Klein finally mocked himself. As Amon walked forward, he continued forward. I thought stream crashed for a sec. As Amon walked forward, he continued, however, in my father's era, quite a number of people believed in me. Some of them set off with the name Angel of Time, using the emblem of the cloak to construct my idol. Some of them used the title of God of Mischief and used a crow covered in mysterious patterns as my image. Oh, the crow. Okay, I see where the crow came from. And used a crow covered in mysterious patterns as my image, while others combined the two together. Having said that, the Mon Kodamon suddenly turned his head and glanced at Klein before curling his lips. We're less than 3 days away from our final destination, his body. That is to say, I only have 3 days left. Klein nearly drew in a cold breath of air. The pressure increased rapidly, making him feel as though his nerves were being crushed. He had yet to determine the true purpose behind the game Amon made, nor did he discover any traces of what he was being driven to do. This meant that he was unable to grasp the key, and he was unable to find a real opportunity to escape. The performance of Amon's avatar made him understand that he might not even be able to last 10 seconds before him. As his thoughts raced, Klein fell silent. I don't even know how we get out of this situation, dude. As his thoughts raced, Klein fell silent. Following that, he walked out of the square covered in ruins. We better not change POV. Yo, we peaked today? I think it's going to be peak. There were a few pedestrians on the streets as they came and went into a hurry. In Prince Harbor, where many houses were covered in burn marks, the chestnut-haired Queen Mystic placed a newspaper on the table. The first page of the Tussock Times was about the king's assassination. It also claimed that the assassin came from Fasek or Intis. Let me lower the volume just a speech more. This isn't stopping the disaster, nor is it worsening the disaster, Bernadette muttered to herself with a serious expression. She pondered for a moment, picked up the cloth on the table, and wrapped it up. She then released her fingers and allowed it to relax. This time, the coffee cups, pens, and newspapers and other items in the tablecloth disappeared. What appeared were ritualism items like silver-made candles. Following that, Bernadette held a ritual and summoned German Sparrow's messenger. As a partner, she felt that she needed to ask about the other party's situation and see if there was anything else she needed help with. She probably can't help from where they're at. The moment the ritual ended, 4 blonde, red-eyed heads walked out of the brigandine candle flames, dressed in a dark and complicated long dress. Renette Tinker's neck was empty. Bernadette's eyelids twitched indiscriminately before she picked up the letter and gold coin that she had prepared earlier and handed it to the messenger. Does Eden get custom emotes? Yeah, we have custom emotes. Yeah. We're capped on custom emotes unless we get more members, at least for now. One of Renette Tanker's head bit one letter in gold coin while the others had sized up Queen Mystic for a few seconds. She shifted her gaze back and walked into the void. However, just as Bernadette was about to put away the tablecloth, Miss Messenger suddenly appeared again. One of the two heads with blonde hairs and red eyes spoke one after another. He has disappeared. Oh shit, dude. Cinema? People have been saying that. We're definitely going to have a cinema emote soon. I think we'll replace an emote. I'm not sure which one, but we'll replace one. Like, what are we going to do? It would have been good for today. Oh, the absolute cinema emote. Maybe after today's stream, we can make a cinema one. We'll make one. Bet. All right. I don't know how we get out of this situation, dude. I can't. My IQ is not high enough to, like, use clairvoyance and hear me out, Klein makes Amon fall in love with him. You know, people have been talking about this ship. It cannot stay a whiz. That ship has to stay docked forever. Chapter 1162 is called Prophecy. German Sparrow had gone missing. Bernadette had a vague sense of foreboding when abnormally terrifying messenger returned. She had to roughly figure out what had happened. And it's like the only reason is because it's like there's a very weird dynamic between Amon and Klein, and I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about that. Bernadette had a vague sense of foreboding when the abnormality, terrifying messenger returned. She had to roughly figure out what had happened. Therefore, after hearing the other part of the response, her expression sank slightly. There were no obvious reactions. Queen Mystic blue eyes, which resembled a condensing sea, instantly turned darker. They temporarily lost focus, as though she was looking at her torrent of fate through Renette Tinker. 2 or 3 seconds later, Bernadette suddenly closed her eyes as if a blinding light had appeared. There's a lot of light. There's a lot of light seeking. Aren't you the god of terrible ships? Hey, bro. We only had one bad ship, dude. Amon doesn't need to love anybody when he can just love himself, you know? And like just say he said, no believers when I have myself. As if a blinding light had appeared in front of her, blood red. Did she sense Amon? Appeared light in front of her. Blood red liquid trickled from the corner of her eyes, accentuating her pale face. With her eyes tightly shut, Bernadette sang in a slight ethereal voice. German Sparrow is in grave digger. Darkness is devouring the light, leaving behind only a sliver of hope. That's still something. This was a prophecy. The secret thread of the mystery part pathway was called clairvoyant. The 4 heads held by Renette Tinker spoke one after another. What does darkness symbolize? The city of silver, dude. Oh shit. Bernadette maintained her composed and dark side. Desolation, aberration, apocalypse, negativity, error. Oh shit. Renette, she can sense them on, but she just doesn't know it yet, or like where they're at, but she can't like necessarily see what it is. Renette Tinker, who was wearing a dark and complicated long dress, didn't let the head in her dark in her hand speak any further. Throwing down the letter and gold coin, she turned and walked into the void, disappearing into the room. Queen Mystic Bernadette stood rooted to the ground for a few seconds without moving. Error, you say? All right. Finally, she opened her eyes again. Her blue eyes were hazy and lifeless, as though she needed more time to restore her eyesight. Bernadette thought for a moment and reached out her right hand. The tablecloth was stowed away before spreading open once again. The ritual items were placed in the fountain pen, papers, and ink bottle. I'm very good at visualizing today. I'm noticing you lowered your music too much on our end now. I'll raise it a little bit. I got you. The fountain pen suddenly leaped up as if it were held by an invisible sprite. It quickly wrote down the matter of German Sparrow's disappearance onto the paper. In the captain's cabin of the future, despite looking at the fried mushrooms on her plate and taking in the fragments of the fat, Catleya didn't pick up her cutlery for a long time. Suddenly, her spiritual perception was triggered. She turned her head to look at the spot where the brass sextant was placed, and she realized that a letter had appeared there at some point in time. Catleya immediately revealed a smile. She reached out to pick the letter and eagerly began reading it. Gradually, she frowned. German Sparrow has gone missing. Everybody, dude. Oh, shit. Catelyn Stark? If only the books were finished, man. Catleya immediately revealed a smile. She reached out to pick up the letter and eagerly began reading it. Gradually, she frowned. German Sparrow has gone missing. Catleya repeated the key word of the letter in a low voice. She actually felt that the matter was somewhat serious. She easily understood the meaning behind Queen Mystic's letter. Without any hesitation, she bowed her head, clasped her hands, and recited an honorific name in Hermes. The fool that... Oh, maybe everybody is seeking Klein because he's the light seeker. Above the great fog of the crimson star representing the hermit came alive. It began expanding and contracting, spreading out ripples of prayers. They intertwined were the ripples created by two crimson stars that corresponded to the magician and the sun. They surged towards the ancient and majestic palace like tidal waves. Someone is praying to Mr. Full again. The echoing are getting even stronger and the sound is becoming even more clear. I can hear it clearly, and the image is also clearer. This prayer seems to be from Mam Hermit, only she likes to wear ancient warlock robes. Like, can I please respond to my people? Queen Mystic discovered that something had happened to German Sparrow. Although I was worried that I would die this time and needed a certain amount of time to revive, I had already hinted to the members of the Terror Club that I might cancel the gathering next week. But that was just a hint. It wasn't a formal notice, nor was it clear enough. When Monday comes, they'll definitely panic, pray, and try to make contact, only to discover that Mr. Fool has also disappeared. No, he has run off with the world. Klein used a deprecating comment to erase his feelings. He glanced at Amon, who was walking beside him. Without a word, he lifted the lantern in his hand and said, "It should have been extinguished long ago." Wearing a pointed hat and a black magic robe, Amon nodded slightly and said, "I left it in the magical state. It can maintain its light for a week without needing any fuel." Klein thought for a moment and asked, "Is this the deceiving of the natural laws? Is this the deceiving of natural laws?" Okay. Amon turned his head and used his monocled right eye to look at Klein for a second before smiling. Smart. The error pathway sequence 3 is a more profound version of swindler known as mentor of deceit. It's about the same. I'm trying to figure out who's the light seeker. Like, is it Klein? I feel like it's Amon. Or like also light seeking because we're trying to get Klein back, or like he's our light, he is our hope, but he's stuck in the darkness. We need to seek him out. I feel like there's so many interpretations for this. It's about the same as my guess. However, it's not only the error pathway that can do such things. The Black Emperor can use distortion and exploit powers to achieve that. In his mind, Klein began comparing the differences between Marauder and the lawyer pathway. At this moment, Amon stroked his chin and asked with interest, "There are less than 3 days left. If you don't think of a way to escape, it will be too late." Hell no, dude. "Do you plan on making a new attempt tomorrow? Make a guess." Klein forced a smile as he answered in the same rhetorical manner that Amon was best at using. He's literally just being him now. Oh my god, he's being him. That's scary. He's literally becoming Amon. To be honest, he didn't believe that the effects would be better giving more attempts. On the one hand, frequent attempts were indeed able to test the limits of Amon's powers. By expanding the items that he had previously stolen, Klein could establish a good foundation of for the final battle. But on the other hand, he would also expose his trump cards. His trump card has to be the quote, dude, in some way. After all, he was in a passive state and had no chance to prepare. To force Amon to showcase more of the means available to him, it required him to use a few trump cards he had. Not all of them, but a few. If his countermeasures were all figured out by Amon after his repeated attempts, he wouldn't have any chance of escaping. An attempt to escape was a double-edged sword. If one wasn't careful, one would cut oneself. It was precisely because of this that Klein didn't blindly take action and carefully made plans in his heart. Bit louder on our end again. Bet. As he spoke, he walked out. Let me kind of do this while we're reading. As he spoke, he walked out of the city that originally worshipped the mutant king and later believed that the ancient sun god. There were only white bones and several stone structures that had been weathered by the elements here that showcased its former positivity. prosperity. Outside of the city, there was also an endless wilderness that couldn't be seen in the lightning. Are we good? Are we good? At 7 Pine Street, Leonard sat on the sofa. He placed his feet on the coffee table and leisurely flipped through the days of newspapers. Yesterday, George III's death had brought the copious amounts of work. He has too much work. Rather than mourning George III, oh man, that's funny. He had spent the entire night on duty and he received 5 hours of rest today. After sleeping for 2 hours, Leonard woke up in his high spirits, attempting to understand the current situation of his normal meeting. I wish I could be in high spirits after 5 hours of rest. In fact, as the captain of the Red Gloves team, he knew more than reporters about certain aspects. For example, in the outskirts of Backland, where the Tudor ruins was located, it had collapsed into a rather large lake. It had nearly affected Dwayne Dante's Mayor Manor. Another was the death of George III, who had self-destructed at the square, but wasn't the actual person. The search for his corpse was to no avail, as though he had vanished into thin air at night. Of course, Leonardo was extremely certain that George III was already dead. Of course he's dead. The eldest prince was about to inherit the title of Balam Empire and Lowen Kingdom. Oh, shit. You guys can hear it? Okay. Is that good? I think we're at a good pace. Don't worry. The music is about to loop again, and then it'll be louder. Back then, I realized the music is very soft towards the end, and then it picks up when it loops. Back then, something had happened at Sephora Castle. This matter definitely has something to do with Mr. Fool. Klein had long warned us about George III. The reactions of the 3 churches were very strange. Even the Church of the Lords of Storms, which most prone to acting rash, wasn't too angry. As Leonard flipped through the newspaper, his thoughts wandered casually. At this moment, his mind was filled with his slightly aged voice of Palazaros. German Sparrow Messenger is here. Leonard suddenly looked up and saw the angel-level messenger wearing a dark and complicated long dress appear in front of him. The 4 blonde red eyes heads held by Renette Tanker spoke one after another. German Sparrow has encountered extreme danger. Oh shit, danger! He has gone missing. My voice almost cracked. Klein had encountered danger and disappeared. Leonard immediately retracted his legs and stood up. Without waiting for the reminder provided by Palazaros, his spiritual perception stirred as he blurted out, "Is it related to the death of George III?" Yes, he destroyed the apotheosis ritual of George III. The 8 red eyes from Renette Tinker's 4 heads looked at Leonard. Apotheosis ritual. Although Leonard was anxious, he was still shocked by the phrase. For someone to hold an apotheosis ritual, one had to be Sequence 1 angel at the very least. Yet Klein was able to directly participate in something at that level. He's fucking strong. Mr. Fool's plan. Leonard's green eyes glimmered slightly, relying on his relatively rich experience. He pointedly asked, "What happened to Klein the last time you saw him?" The 4 blonde red-eye heads of Renette Tinker shook his head, possibly under Zaratul's pursuit. As German Sparrow Messenger, this ancient bane was able to sense that her employer had also left the Tudor ruins after escaping. And as for those who understood the means of Scholar Yor, they were undoubtedly high sequence beyonders of the same pathway. Therefore, Zaratul, okay, that's a good conclusion. Apotheosis. I think I got it right. Therefore, Zaratul will definitely be able to obstruct and pursue him. Zaratul, the leader of the secret order of the Sequence 1 angel Zaratul. As Leonard was worried about Klein, he felt fear and concern for the life of his former colleagues. At that moment, a deep voice sounded in his mind. Ask her, who's her? In capital. Evernight? Ask her what other clues she has. Leonard immediately did as he asked. Renette Tinker seemed to know that Leonard wasn't simple. She repeated Queen Mystic's prophecy word by word. After listening to what was said, Palazaros fell silent for a while before sighing, "Error." Oh shit. It's Renette? Oh. Okay, it's Renette. But we're talking to Renette. She repeated Queen Mystic's she's repeating Queen Mystic's prophecy. "Error. I think I know about your former colleagues." I was like, who's her? Easiest tweaking? I don't know, man. Sometimes it happens. But I've been good. I've been following everything so far. Oh, I just tweaked out for 1 second, but we're good. We're back on track. "I think I know about your former colleague's current situation." Leonard subconsciously wanted to ask, but because there were outsiders around, he held back his urge. Palaz paused and continued. "The anomaly with Sephora Castle attracted Zaratul. How could Amon not notice it? Of course. This should be related to the struggle for Sephora Castle. Sephora Castle." Leonard slowly took a deep breath and said to Renette Tinker, "He might have fallen into the hands of Amon." After Miss Messenger's forehead nodded and turned heavily, Leonard immediately sat down and clasped his hands. Closing his eyes, he prayed, "The fool that doesn't belong to this era." The Badoon is still here. The Badoon goes strong, man. It only goes stronger. Look, man. As the volumes get more abstract and complicated, the Badoon only gets stronger, man. It's gonna hit so hard in volume 8. I already know it, man. I'm already ready, man. As the power levels increase in the volumes, like our Badoon power level only increase. Higher in the Badoon sequence. Yes, the higher ranks they climb, the higher ranks we climb when it comes to not comprehending something. I'm telling you, I'm scared. I think my brain is genuinely gonna be fried. It was kind of hard following volume 5. Was mausoleum 1, 2, 3, and then okay, 9 angels of 9 high sequence. Okay, now we're running. Okay, like it was getting hard. I'm scared. I'm scared for the future. But chapter 1163 is called Approaching. What was that?
Yo, easy.
Muted myself. All right, chapter 1163 is called Approaching. Above the gray fog, the crimson star representing the star also burgeoned and contracted. The rippling light gradually overlapped with the other ripples created by the other 3 crimson stars, turning into a tidal wave that surged through the entire mysterious space, causing the space to vibrate slightly. After describing the matter related to Klein, Leonard has ended his prayers and waited for Mr. Fool to respond. However, he still didn't receive any feedback after nearly 15 minutes. Mr. Fool, not make noise. No, you're good. No, you're good. We're good. After describing the matter related to Klein, Leonard ended his prayers and waited for Mr. Fool to respond. However, he still didn't receive any feedback after nearly 15 minutes. Mr. Fool has always been very responsive. Leonard couldn't help but mutter. After a few seconds of silence, Palazraz reminded with a slightly aged voice, recall what Mr. Fool said recently. I can't recall. Leonard thought carefully and slowly said, in the middle of the week, he reminded us not to head into the woods in the northwestern outskirts of Backland. Yes, he seemed to hint that the gathering might not be held as planned. As expected, Balasaraz let out a long sigh and said, the Fool has predicted Amon's appearance. Damn, he's smart. The Fool has predicted Amon's appearance, so he started an extent. They might be fighting in different domains now. One of them wishes to hold on to Sephira Castle, while the other wishes to become the new owner of Sephira Castle. Your former colleagues has unfortunately been embroiled into this matter. Mr. Fool had expected this, and this a trap he had laid for Amon. Leonard's green eyes lit up as he blurted out. He's like, oh, it's expected! It's expected! He's been planning this all along, dude! Palaz spent a significant amount of time thinking as he spoke much slower. Perhaps if that's the case, perhaps it's because Amon explored the trap and took the initiative. Don't underestimate a blasphemer, a powerful kings of angels. People glazing Mr. Fool as always, dude. According to what Leonard knew, Mr. Fool was either the owner of Sephira Castle, who was slowly recovering, corresponding to some unknown deity in history, or he was the embodiment of Sephiroth. He's the embodiment. I'm sorry, what is Sephiroth again? He is the embodiment of Sephiroth. That's clearly related to Sephira Castle, but what was Sephiroth? Wasn't that an individual? Or no? He was unable to control his authority and strength very well, something that could be fixed, a further qualitative change. And regardless of the possibilities, Mr. Fool was still unable to reach the level of a true deity. He was likely on the same level of the kings of angels. Under such circumstances, it was rather normal that Mr. Fool and the terrifying blasphemer would undergo an intense battle. After all, the person was one of them, one of the strongest hidden existences beneath the deities. He was even more powerful than the hidden sage that was usually categorized as an evil god. Even deities were somewhat apprehensive towards him. Leonard couldn't help but tense up. He asked in a low voice, wordly, "Old man, do you have any way to provide help? Isn't Amon your greatest enemy? Such help might be limited, but it should be able to pull Klein out of the maelstrom." Okay. Sephira Castle is one of the Sephiroth. So one of the other... Was it 8 or 9 entities that the creator made? Is that what it is? Upon hearing that, because I have all 8 or 9 written down, all the ones that were revealed. Broad Hive, Chaos River, River of Eternal Darkness, Knowledge More, Tenebros World. Are those all like Sephiroth? Brothers asking a shout out to help for Amon. We'll see what happens, man. Such help might be limited, but it should be able to pull Klein out of the maelstrom. I don't know, man. Upon hearing that, Palazros laughed and said with an obvious self-deprecating tone, "Aren't you expecting? Okay, aren't you expecting too much from me?" Yeah. Broadhive. I pronounced it wrong. Yes, 9. I guess I pronounced it wrong. Okay, I'll pronounce it more badass in the future. Indeed, if Amon obtains Sephira Castle, I'll definitely die at his hands. I might not be able to survive this winter, and if Sephira Castle is left with a fool, I might have a chance of surviving in the future, okay? But would an old man like me, who has just recovered to Sequence 2, have the ability to interfere with a battle at this level? Even if I were to use yesterday once more charms, what can I do in a short time span of 2 to 3 seconds? I feel like a lot can happen in those seconds. Yes, at the critical moment, I might be able to help with the fool, wrap the situation, but I don't even know where they are fighting. How can I seize this opportunity? Leonard fell silent after hearing Old Man Long's answer. He immediately bowed his head and raised his hand to press them against the sides of his head. He muttered to himself, "Don't tell me that I can only watch helplessly." Palas sighed and said, be patient. Be patient. All we can do now is be patient. The Fool and Evernight and some other deities and the kings of angels seem to have some tacit understanding with each other. They might even be cooperating with one another. They will not allow Amon to take away Sephira Castle. Oh, shit. This finale sounds really hype. Okay, they're not going to let that happen? They're not going to be willingly? All right. Wait patiently. Perhaps it won't take long for a window of opportunity to appear. Leonard straightened his body and leaned back. He took a deep breath and exhaled. I understand. The Blue Avenger, which had been ordered. Why are we back with Volgar? No, go back to the City of Silver. I want to know what's going on over there. I don't care about anything else but Amon and Klein right now. The Blue Avenger would have been ordered by the Church of the Lords of Storms to attack the port of Phasacian merchant ships near the waters of the Sony Island was hiding somewhere outside the safe sea route. They edging you? Definitely. Olgar Wilson stood behind the window of the captain's cabin, using an extremely distant vision to stare at the long coastline. I want to go back, dude. I need to go back. To this newly advanced ocean songster with bad sinking point of view, many captains who received similar missions were cream of the crop of the mid-sequence beyonders. Their joint operations would definitely be able to effectively harm the traffic flow of Phasacian's waters. This also meant that an attack... I know they aren't in the City of Silver, but I want to go back to the Forsaken Lands. That's what I mean, my bad. I want to go back to the Forsaken Lands. And what was it? That was the city of... I said his name. Was that Gregorus, former city where his believers resided? This also meant that an attack from a Phasec would be reasonably fierce, with a high chance of a Sequence 4 demigod leading the attack. Fuck. Yo, thank you for following, man. Thank you. I'm sorry I have the alerts closed. I need to make them visible. Of course, one couldn't eliminate the possibility of a Sequence 3 warship or Silver Knight appearing. This was a dangerous development for Olgar. He didn't wish to put himself in such danger. At the same time, his crew, colleagues, and partners would monitor each other, preventing anyone from deserting. If Olgar were to skeeve and walk on the edge of danger, it wouldn't take long for him to consider killing most of the crew members and becoming a true pirate, or lose the Blue Avenger and return to Pazu Island for an internal probe. What? We should not do that. Music changed, but I'm doing something, so I forgot. No, it's okay. I think that music, I feel like this track it perfectly encapsulates volume 6 so far, Cammy. So I think we're good. But after this operation ends, the captains would still survive, wouldn't exceed a third. Olgar calmly analyzed the situation and quickly came up with a plan to avoid danger. That was to participate in an operation, but not to take certain stage. Olgar planned on using a surprise attack on the port while his brethren frantically attacked the Phasacian merchants and supply ships. This would bring the people on board his ship onto Sonia Island, allowing them to lay an ambush in primeval forest. Occasionally, he would cause some minor disturbance to the port, which were easily managed. This was the Phasac demigods would definitely cast their gaze at the sea and not towards him. At the same time, at the eyes of the crew, he would be a role model who was willing to take great risks to enter the enemy's borders. After thinking through all details, Olgar immediately gathered the crew and repeated his plans. Finally, he empathized. This will be very dangerous. Trust me, it's very, very dangerous. All right, that's hype. We won't be able to advance and retake like we can at sea. We might be surrounded by enemies at any time, but such an attack will definitely exceed the expectations of Phasacians, and it will give us the outcome we want. Are you willing to remain on the ship as cowards, or do you want to follow me into battle as a hero to show your devotion to the Lord? What a badass speech. The crew members felt their blood boiling as he rashly said, fuck the Phasacians. Oh shit, dude. Phasacians. Fuck them, dude. Very good. Yeah, fuck them, dude. Olgar felt relieved as he struck his right fist onto his left breast. May the storm be with us and be with all of you. May the storm be with us. And the sailors saluted and shouted. After making the necessary arrangements, Olgar believed that they needed to borrow the unshattered crucifix as soon as possible. But we can't. We can't borrow it right now from Derek. As soon as possible, so as to purge the excess ocean songsters beyond her characteristics. Although he had exaggerated the danger of landing on the island, there was still a certain level of danger involved. Therefore, he wanted to quickly recover to his optimal condition. And he had long understood that Mr. Fool's earlier hint. He felt that tonight or tomorrow morning, Mr. Fool would officially inform that the gathering was to be cancelled. Of course, there were two... I don't know if that's going to happen, dude. Of course, there were some ideas in the deepest depths of Alder's heart. He suspected that every time Mr. Fool canceled the Terror Club, something had happened to him. He wanted to use this prayer to test if the mighty existence was still normal. I have no idea. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure. No, I can't. Thou shalt not test God. This isn't a test. Mr. Fool didn't hint that I can pray to him recently. Besides, barring the unshattered crucifix is something I really need to do within the next few days. Oliver paced back and forth, unable to make a decision. At this moment, he heard the sound of the waves crashing. Through the additional types of vision provided by the ghost ship, he saw the water part was a huge fish-type creature appeared. The strange-looking giant fish opened its mouth and spat out a small metal ball that landed on the deck. Olger nodded and expressed his gratitude with his singing. Oh, he can control fish, right? He can control the sea creatures? This was a sea creature the Church of Lords of Storms had tamed. Oh, the Lords of Storms tamed it. Or the Church of Lords of Storms tamed it. In this operation, it and its companions were the messengers between the various ships and the islands. Upon receiving his gratitude, the giant fish-like creature trembled. With a flick of its tail, it headed deep into the sea and swam into the distance. Oliver looked at it silently for 2 seconds before summoning a gust of wind to bring the metal ball into the captain's cabin. He twisted and opened the metal bottle and took out the piece of paper inside. Olger's eyes froze for a mere glance at it. George III had also been assassinated. Olger repeated this content with a heavy expression before recalling the world German Sparrow's reminder and Mr. Fool's hint. Showing gratitude by singing. I don't think it's gratitude. This time, he no longer hesitated. He locked the room and softly muttered the honorific name, the fool that doesn't belong to this era. No response. The prayers are almost becoming a choral symphony. Mr. Hankman wants to borrow the unshattered crucifix from Little Son. Leonard, yes. These voices are stacked over one another, undiluting its pitch and volume. It makes the surroundings tremble. Klein rubbed his temples, having a feeling that he had been struck by the lightning from every direction. From Olger singing as a threat. I forget. Yeah, it's like a harpy, right? It affects them. At this moment, he followed him on deeper into the desolate moors and saw moors. Oh, isn't that one of the 9? Something more? Knowledge more. How do I pronounce this? Give me a sec.
At this moment, he followed him on deeper into the desolate moors and
moors. Nah, he's just tone deaf. Yeah, I mean, he is a bad singer. Into the desolate moors and saw the gray shell of fog that blanketed the area. There were a few ravines, and in the dark depths, there were plenty of things roaming. Compared to the quiet, lurking monsters from before, the ones here were rather special. The pointy hat of the mon raised his hand to nudge his monocle and pointed ahead with a smile. Another half a day, and we should be reaching our final destination. Already? Half a day? Another half day and we should be reaching our final destination. Half a day. It hasn't been a day yet. Didn't you say wait, what the fuck? He said 3 days. It hasn't even been a day yet. Didn't you say 3 days? Klein's pupil seemingly dilated. Amon smiled and said, I said no more. What a fucking asshole. I said not more than 3 days. Bitch, 1 day is not no more than 3 days. This bitch was trolling him. Oh! So he was like, okay, so I guess he told him that's what Klein's like, okay, I have 3 days to prepare. What an asshole. What a little bitch. 1 day, he's just scared of Klein, dude. He's just scared of Sephira Castle. That's why he's trying to throw him off. 1 day is not no more than 3 days too. Upon saying that, the King of Angels paused and asked with a piqued interest, did I hamper your arrangements? Are you feeling more despair? That's exactly what he wanted to do. Klein didn't answer as he suddenly reached out his hand and grabbed into the void beside him. What's he grabbing? Cheating. Who's cheating? Him? I'm sorry. Cheating in what kind of connotation? I mean, he is the most powerful swindler. Definitely, dude. He's fucked up, man. We gotta act more like a mon sometimes when we have trolls. We just gotta be swindlers in front of them, and I think that'll work. Ref, do something. This bitch is cheating, dude. Chapter 1000. Who? Ref, do something. Chapter 1164 is called Cheating. Although Klein had been a Beyonder for less than 2 years, his experience could be described as rich and exciting. Even among Sequence 4 and Sequence 3 saints, the things he possessed or encountered before that could be summoned from the historical void, and the ones that were capable of quickly killing him didn't number many. Here he chose the Flaring Sun Charm that he had used in Tinkin City. He had already recited the incantation injected in his spirituality into it, and was about to activate the charm. Indeed, to a demigod of the seer pathway, that meant bizarreness and change. It wasn't very effective against him. He mainly depended on the damage it did to his body, but Klein didn't dodge or defend himself. Instead, he released his body and mind to embrace the light of hope. Oh, light seeker, the light of hope, okay? Even at the level of a Sequence 3 Skull of Yore, the defense of a Seer pathway beyond us remained low. His offensive ability was also equally insufficient compared to his peers. That resulted in a sad fact. When Klein wanted to commit unaliving, he didn't have any powers that could quickly kill himself. After all, it was impossible for him to control his spare body threads and transform himself into his marionette. This would result in illogical contradictions. Towards the end of the process, he would lack the ability to continue making himself a marionette. Amon asking if you would love him. If he was a worm, definitely. Hell no, I'd step on the worm, dude. Himself a marionette. And when he was searching for ways to kill himself through external means, he realized that as long as he didn't use methods like marionette interchange, paper figurine substitutes, and historical voids hintings, there were too many opinions that he could consider. The Seer was such a powerful pathway that veered towards the extremes. Seeing that Klein was about to take out Flaring Suncharm from the fog of history, along with having a strong desire to commit... Dude, him dying and coming back has to be part of the ritual, man, for Sequence 2. No shot it doesn't, and maybe Amon has just been gaslighting him the whole time so he can help him reach Sequence 2. Commit unaliving, Amon only smiled. Without even raising his hand, he stole the entire idea, causing the crystal molecule to glow slightly. Klein immediately forgot when he was trying to... Okay, so the molecule is factored into the stealing abilities because it's glowing. Klein immediately forgot what he was trying to do. Asshole. But his actions didn't stop. He shook his reaction when he heard that they were only half a day away from his final destination was mostly faked. This is because he had always been wary of the god of the seed. He didn't trust anything he said. There were too many interpretations of not no more than 3 days. So Klein had long prepared for the worst. After hearing what Amon said, he immediately arranged the things he needed to do in a sequence. After having the idea of summoning the Flaring Suncharm to commit unaliving, it was to summon that existence, summon that existence, summon this, that, and those existences. Oh my god. This is so Fighthead. After having the idea of summoning the Flaring Suncharm to commit unaliving, it was to summon that existence, summon this, that, and those existences. He made it cyclic, hoping that no matter how many thoughts Amon stole from him, he would still follow his original plan and perform the corresponding actions. Oh, that's smart. Easy as light seekering, summon, and that results in the summonings. Regarding this matter, back when he dealt with 008, he had been thinking about it above the Grey Fog. He had used the experience of treating the real him as a marionette and only following a predetermined set of actions to help him greatly. At this moment, although he didn't know what he was trying to do, the point of not realizing that he had forgotten something, he knew very well what he would do next. The past wasn't important, but the present and the future were key. But if you don't know the past, how are you supposed to know the present and the future? The past wasn't important, but the present and the future were key. Klein reached out his palm again and grabbed the void in front of him. His entire arm sank. However, when he retracted his right hand, nothing came out. At the same time, Amon raised his palm and gently swiped forward, so he steals that. He had stolen the historical void projection that Klein had summoned. A figure quickly appeared beside Amon. It was an elder dressed in a hooded black robe. Zaratul? His eyes were deep black like a dark water surface, and the white beard around his mouth was long and dense. Zaratul, the leader of the secret order, the Sequence 1 angel, Zaratul. The existence that Klein had attempted to summon was actually Zaratul, and he had succeeded in one try. Oh shit. This is because he had made preparations in advance. I'll prepare the magician. How long are you going? I'm not sure, man, but we're going to try and go for a long time. We got approval from the missus, so we should go for a long time. This is because he had made prep, and as long as I don't get sleepy, I think we're good for. We're going over 2 hours, that's for sure. In the historical void, without any doubt, it was impossible to succeed at that time. However, as a scholar of yore, it would be a massive failure if one failed to notice that someone else was trying to summon their historical projection. Okay. As for Zaratul, he was definitely a senior, excellent, and experienced scholar of yore, so he would know. After such a failed summoning, Klein had established a connection with Zaratul. This was a tacit understanding between scholars of yore, so that's why it worked on the first try. As for a miracle invoker and intendant of mysteries, he was able to respond to his historical projection. It was just like how a scholar of yore had a 100% chance of succeeding when borrowing strength from his past. Okay, I'm following. In addition, a scholar of yore has no contractual connection with historical void projection. They relied on other party lacks of intelligence or them having good relationships with them to control it. And this world, the few high-level existences most unwilling to see Amon obtain Sephiric Castle was Mr. Door, followed by Palas, and then Zaratul. So the 3. In other words, the two of them were short-term allies when it came to resisting Amon. Okay, so, okay, your enemy is my friend. Due to these factors, Klein believed that he would summon Zaratul in one go, and the facts proved that he was right. And it was precisely because of this that he was worried that at all that Amon would steal away from the historical projection that he had summoned. He even hoped that the Angel of Time would do so. As for the reason why he first came up with the idea of committing unaliving before summoning Zaratul, is this spelled Zaratul because he was trying to steal it? Sexy suck? Definitely sexy suck. Unfortunately, I got class. Oh man, no, it's okay. Well, don't worry, the VODs are going to be up right away. Summoning Zaratul, it was to let Amon steal his thoughts, and for Amon, he would be happy to try since he was a king of angels in search of excitement. So he will want to do it, okay? With too many choices, almost dropped my mic. With too many choices for him to choose from, it was unlikely he would repeat another. Thought usurpation, it might be theft of the historical void projection. This was one of the few trump cards that Klein had. In the next second, Zaratul gaze turned from a glazed one to a spiritual and real one. Clearly, the attendant of mysteries, a senior scholar viewer, had entered the historical void and allowed his projection from the same era to receive his consciousness. Okay, the projection gets the consciousness because you can only have one. And having his own consciousness meant that Zaratul's projection didn't hesitate at all to firmly cast his gaze at Amon. The eye of Amon, the ones wearing and not wearing the Monaco, narrowing at the same time. He saw the lightning around him increase in frequency as the vast wilderness with many ravines instantly turned empty in darkness. There were speckled with twinkling stars. He had apparently been pulled beneath the cosmos by Zaratul. This was a miracle. As for the projection opposite of Amon, it had already transformed into a gigantic mysterious whirlpool formed by squirming maggots. Ew. They extended out in all directions with transparent tentacles. Just looking at them would make humans lose their minds and turn crazy. At that moment, Klein abandoned the other thoughts in the queue. He has thoughts queued. He took the opportunity to control a monster deep in the darkness and transform it into his marionette. Immediately following that, he switched places with his marionette. After coming to the depths of the darkness, Klein reached out his hand and once again to grab the air in front of him a few times in succession. His marionette did the same action as well. Finally, he dragged a new figure out of the void. Who? Renette? It was a figure dressed in a simple linen robe with a tree bark and a belt. Okay, it's Ariana. With a tree, bark, and belt standing there, barefooted with long black hair, Ariana's facial features were ordinary and her eyes dark and cold. The Evernights Cloisters matrion and ascetic leader of the servant and the consummate, the grounded angel Ariana. As soon as Ariana appeared, her dark eyes turned normal. She didn't look like a projection at all. Her true body seemed to have entered a concealed state, allowing the summoned historical void projection to also possess intelligence. This was also one of the reasons why Klein had chosen to summon her and had given up on summoning Mr. Zick and Miss Messenger, who gave him a higher success rate. This was even if an accident happened during his unaliving, preventing his success, there was still a chance to fight Amon in the subsequent battle. After historical void's projection possessed their own consciousness and made it much easier for Klein to maintain them, this resulted in an extension in time for maintenance. Oh, because you're knowingly controlling it, you can control it longer. This resulted in an extension in time for the maintenance of the projection. Following that, he used the connection between the Scholar of Yor and their summoned historical void projections, quickly communicating to the servant and consummate, Ariana, his intent to kill him. Ariana suddenly bent her body and her right hand reached behind her back. She pulled out, man, so many he, she's, he's, we's, they's in it. It's kind of funny if you're just like listening to it rather than seeing all the quotes or all the brackets in between them. She pulled out a bone sword. Oh shit, it's the bone sword. She pulled out a bone sword covered in strange patterns from the depths of darkness. Then she suddenly took a step forward and swung her sword forward. The entire darkness literally stirred as it widely spread towards the spot when Klein was standing. An unlucky monster happened to be situated An unlucky monster happened to be situated between the two of them as it melted away when drowned by the tide of darkness. This wasn't the authority of concealment. This was the combination of repose and horror. It symbolized the danger and darkness, a symbol of silent destruction and vanquishment. Damn. The Beyonders of the Sleepless Pathway had reached sequence 3, Horror Bishop to... Wait. It's Horror Bishop? I don't remember this. Sequence 3 of the Sleepless Pathway is called Horror Bishop. To grasp such power, subconsciously Klein's survival instinct made him attempt to escape, but at that moment he felt the surroundings. Darkness was an enemy. If he was infected by that force, he would have become a part of the tide. There was no avoiding it. There's no need to use all my strength. There's no need to use all your strength. You can easily kill me with just a portion of your strength. Klein restrained his primal instincts as he stood on the spot, waiting for the destruction to sweep through him. At that moment, a distant illusory bell sounded. A bell? I mean, I assume it's the same bone sword that we've been seeing since Volume 1. There's no need. She summoned the same bone sword. There's no need to use all your strength. You can easily kill me with just a portion of your strength. Klein restrained his primal instincts as he stood on the spot, waiting for the destruction to sweep through him. At that moment, a distant illusory bell sounded. It was as if it had traveled through a long stretch of history, a bell that stretched through history, causing everything around it to slow down, including the surging darkness. In mid-air, swaths of darkness were pierced, revealing a gigantic wall clock carved. Oh, wait, it's Palaz. Wall clock. Wait, clock. Clock. This is what Palaz summoned back then. Revealing when he was helping Leonard out, right? Against Lenavus? The fuck against Lenavus? Against Inzingwil, right? A gigantic wall clock carved out of stone. It was the ancient and modeled, and its surface was separated into 12 segments. Oh, wait, no. This is Amon. It was an ancient and modeled, and its surface was separated into 12 segments by grayish white and bluish black colors. Each segment had different symbols, and the needle had a total of 3 hands, short, medium, long. It seemed to be formed from the 12 rings of the Worm of Time. As the second hand ticked, the bell rang again. Gong. As the sound echoed, the surging darkness like a tidal wave slowed down even more. The ancient cloak's projection dissipated, turning back into Amon with his point. Is that his? I've whipped my clock out. Everybody, put your clocks away. Wait, is this his mythical creature form? Turning back into Amon with his pointed hat and monocle. I'm sorry, that was his mythical creature form. Behind him, the projection of Zaratul was also in a sluggish state. The fuck? What kind of form is that? It's a clock? I guess that makes sense. Worms of Time? Oh, no more clocking? Yeah, no more clocking. The clocking must be put away for now. Right on the heels of that, Amon levitated in midair, extending his right hand, and he pressed down at the darkness. The darkness quickly returned to normal, drowning Klein without causing him any damage. It was unknown if there was a bug or if the Beyonder effect had been stolen. It was unknown if there was a bug or if a Beyonder effect had been stolen. It's a clock fight. At the same time, Amon's body instantly became abnormally huge. It was nearly... The fuck? Amon's body instantly became abnormally huge. Okay, wait. I gotta visualize this. Amon's body instantly became abnormally huge. It was nearly 20 meters tall, 60 feet in freedom units, but none of his clothes suffered any damage. So now we have like a huge-ass molecule. He looked down at Klein and raised his hand to adjust his molecule. He ignored the attacks from Zaratul projection behind him as he curled his lips and scrolled with the deepest interest. Interesting. Come on. The Grand Line? Oh, wait, I thought it was One Piece. Okay, it's called the Grand Lined Up. Okay, I'm following. I was a little confused, but I'm following. Okay, we're chill. I'm following. I'm still following. Okay, I haven't been lost. IQ has still closely been locked in. Mostly been locked in. Chapter 1165 is called The Grand Lineup. I thought that was a One Piece reference for a sec when we said the Grand Line. As Amon spoke, the transparent tentacles, covered with mysterious patterns, extended out of the gigantic vortex behind his back, and they wrapped around... What? And they wrapped around his many different spirit body threads. In the blink of an eye, the illusory black threads were lifted up without any resistance, and with that, one strange monster after another was hoisted up in the air, like ham waiting to be dry again. Okay, I understood that reference. The spirit body threads beside Amon were all stolen by him at some point in time. While Zaratul launched his attack, his other slippery tentacle kept extending into the void, attempting to pull something back. In just a few seconds, a figure quickly appeared. He had a long chestnut-colored curly hair. Chestnut Adam? Curly hair? Blue eyes, high nose bridge, thin lips, and a very beautifully manicured mustache. Oh, Roselle. He wore a dark red coat with rusted golden threads. It was none other than the former Emperor of Intis, Roselle Gustave. The moment this knowledge emperor stepped into the real world, he looked down at the gigantified Amon, and complicated and illusory symbols instantly formed in his eyes. That's crazy. I thought Adam has curly hair. No, okay, Adam is blonde, bro. Okay, well, chestnut. That can be another interpretation for blonde. No. But the mustache gave it away. The mustache gave it away. There's only one man with a gorgeous mustache, and it's Rizal. The moment this knowledge emperor stepped into the real world, he looked down at the gigantified Amon, and complicated and illusory symbols instantly formed in his eyes. He wasn't worried that the model would steal his attack at all, because he had prepared an extremely large amount of useless miscellaneous knowledge. He had prepared an extremely large amount of useless miscellaneous knowledge. Be it the forceful injection or Amon's theft of it, he could achieve the goal of blowing up the other party's mind. Just as Emperor Rizal's projection was fully formed, another figure appeared from Zarathul's transparent tentacles. The figure had a young face, but his long hair was already half white. Half white? The figure had a young face, half of his long hair was half white. And what's the other one? Black? Black and white? Pulled back and flailing in the air. In the darkness, half of it was hidden and the other was prominent. Black and white. This was an angel that Klein didn't know. He looked like a man with eyes that were dark and filled with vicissitudes of life. His facial features were considered pretty good, but there was a bunch of thick, short black hair on his cheeks. He emitted the feeling that he was both old and youthful, both rational and crazy. He immediately... Who the fuck is this? Half white, half to your imagination. Okay? He immediately transformed into a cluster of squirming worms that extended out transparent, smooth tentacles akin to Zarathul's projection. So this is somebody else in the spectator pathway? Clearly, this was also an angel from the seer pathway. Did I say spectator? Seer pathway. Clearly, this was also an angel from the seer pathway. At that moment, Klein did... You know, I've noticed... Okay, it's a spoiler. We won't talk about it. Okay. Somebody from the seer pathway... Fucking the fool. The former fool. If its hair concealed in darkness is black and white hair, and he has short black hair on his cheeks, so he has a patchy mustache, clearly this was also an angel from the seer pathway. At that moment, Klein didn't even dare to look straight at the situation, incurring a minute. Bro, okay? We're just not going to talk about it? However, who the fuck is this? This sounds badass. This is like a Fire Emblem character design, right? When you have like two colored hairs, it's like in Fire Emblem Engage, dude. The MC, fucking, she has red and blue hair. However, when his spiritual perception was triggered, he had already sensed something familiar. Okay? The second angel that was summoned by Zarathul was a son of an ancient god, the original ancestor of the Antigonus family. This was a historical projection him before... Wait. Former Zarathul? Before he became the half-fool? This was... Wait. The second angel... He summoned his former self. The second angel that was... Oh my god, my head. This... Okay, wait. IQ, come on. Load. The second angel that was summoned by Zarathul was the son of an ancient god, the original ancestor of the Antigonus family. This was a historical projection of him before he became the half-fool. Yeah, Zarathul is the half-fool. Oh, yeah, that was established before. Okay, not Zarathul, but his former? This was the historical projection of him before he became the half-fool. No? Bro, this is so big brain. Wait, man, there are so many he's, hims, and halves. Wait, okay, wait. I warned you guys. Wait, I warned you guys. I was gonna get confused as this shit gets more philosophical. I warned you guys. No, you remember? Oh, shit. God damn, this series. Holy shit. Oh, man, it hit. Read comprehension, it hit again. Nice muscle memory, though. Okay. Is not Zarathul Antigonus? Oh my god, I'm getting lightheaded. Like Antigonus, like not Antigonus family, but like the Antigonus. Apple is not Rosago. That's a funny ass troll, Mick. He was not a good seer, I'll tell you that much. So the Antigonus. Fool is clearly enemy whiz. Oh man, So the Antigonus. They just wrote he's the ancestor of the. Oh my god! Bro, this is. Oh my god. Let me reread this. Read DSV message. D, where you at? Zaratul is summoning. Oh wait, okay. Let me scroll up so I can stay still. Zaratul is summoning another angel of the seer pathway, who is half full Antigonus. Let me keep reading. I think it's gonna click right now. It'll click. It'll click. Let me keep reading. It's gonna click. Stop tagging me. Stop tagging me. Okay, let me keep reading. It'll click. It's gonna click. Okay, you got it now? Okay. This was a historical projection, him before he became the half-fool. Clearly, Zaratul had made sufficient preparations in this period of time. As Antigonus displayed his complete mythical... Wow. As Antigonus displayed his complete mythical creature form, the surrounding... Oh, the Antigonus book. It's all coming full circle back to Volume 1. Oh, shit. Maybe that's why it's been drawn to Klein this whole time. What the fuck? Antigonus? Come on, man. Volume 1 was the Antigonus book? Wait, that's cool. Zaratul summoned an angel who is Antigonus, the originator of the Antigonus family. Got it? Antigonus later became... Wait, so the half-full that was mentioned before was... Oh, wait, that makes more sense. The half-full we heard about earlier was Antigonus. Wow, law of convergence. Oh no, wow, that is crazy. And he was drawn to the Antigonus book. What the fuck? Dude. How the fuck does Cuttlefish come up with this shit? I got it. Okay, it clicked. We got... How the fuck does he come up with this? Bro, he has to be on psychedelics, bro. Ain't no way he's coming up with this shit rationally, bro. You have to be on something and come up with all this crazy shit. I'm getting lightheaded. Circle of what? Maybe it was a circle of inevitability this entire 2 chapters a day. Woo! Okay, let's keep reading, man. This is a long chapter, man. We've been on this chapter for a while. We're only on page 207. This was the historical projection him before he became the half-full. Clearly, Zaratul had made sufficient preparations in this period of time. As Antigonus displayed his complete mythical creature form, the surroundings environment changed once again. The darkness became even darker, as though it had a life of its own, as it surged towards a massive manifestation of the classical black-robed, pointy-hatted, and Mon Kodaman. Okay? Can we get much higher? I can already hear the music playing, dude. And the area enveloped by the darkness, all the monsters instantly turned into marionettes. Oh, shit. Antigonus seemed to have moved... What the fuck did we... Antigonus is here. Antigonus seemed to have moved a portion of the ancient divine kingdom from his memories into the real world, so as to separate Amon from Klein. This was also a miracle. When the miracle happened, Zaratul's transparent tentacles pulled out a... Who the fuck is the third projection? He pulled out a third projection from the fog of history. This was a knight in full black armor. Full black armor? He was a demigod from the fourth epoch Solomon Empire, and he had not left an illustrious name in history. However, he had another identity. He was a member of the Red of War? He was a member of the Red of War? Army, and the leader of this army was a... He summoned Medici? He had another identity. He was a member of the Red Angel of War army, and the leader of this army was the King of Angels, Medici. And this division, every member could connect with Red Angel Medici's mind and become one? What the fuck? They're like linked? No, he got someone from Medici's army. So he got one of his leaders, like his commanders. Okay? And they're all connected. In this division, every member could connect with Red Angel Medici's mind and become one. In other words, if Medici could converge their powers, then they could also transmit their own powers to the collective pool. Fuck? Bro, man. I'm short-circuiting, dude. God damn, dude. The powers of a scholar of your powers couldn't summon anything associated with the uniqueness. Even if they were to raise their sequence and receive a qualitative change, and dude, this got so dude, man, we went from using air cannon bullets to this. We've come such a long way. It remained the same. However, there is no doubt that the seers would seek ways to push the envelope by attempting to bypass the restrictions and obtain help from the uniqueness to a certain extent. Some demigod from the Solomon Empire who was in the army led by Medici, and then they're all connected by one. They can all be connected and share. Wow, okay. Klein had summoned the goddess's descent vessel to accomplish this point, while Zaratul summoned Klein had summoned the goddess's descent vessel to accomplish this point, was Zaratul summoned a powerhouse from the Red of War army. At this moment, the projection was equivalent to a portion of Medici. The knight in the black armor stepped on the battlefield. He scanned the this is so cool. He scanned the battlefield in a sluggish manner before laughing out loud. Yo, Lil Raven. Lil Raven? We've heard that before. We heard that last stream. Yo, Lil Raven. Yo, Lil Raven, have those feathers I burnt recovered? Do they fought in the past? Have those feathers I burnt recovered? Due to the fact that the historical projection had summoned another 3 angel-level historical projection, Klein suspected that he could maintain it for 10 seconds. Oh shit, not even 10. Halo? If it wasn't for this change, he would most likely have felt that he had found a way to identify and increase his combat strength. That was to summon 2 angels and 1 projection of himself every... Wait. And you summon 1 projection of himself? That was to summon 2 angels and 1 projection of himself every time. Then he could use his projection to summon 2... We're looping? And then the projection summons projections, and then the projection, and... If it wasn't for this change, then he would most likely have felt that he had found a way to indefinitely increase his combat strength. That was to summon 2 angels and 1 projection of himself. Then he could use his projection of himself to summon 2 angels and himself again. If this continued, he would have an infinite number of projections of available projectionception. We literally said it at the same time, Mick. Holy shit. Projectionception. At this moment, the ascetic leaders of the Church of the Evernight Ariana body faded and entered a concealed state. Okay, we're in a concealed state. That's good for escaping. Following that, she suddenly appeared behind the gigantified Amon, slashing out with the bone sword that was... I'm trying to visualize this. Slashing out with the bone sword that was covered in strange patterns. Taking advantage of this opportunity when Amon was being attacked by the 5 angel projections attack, Klein kept converting monsters into his marionettes. Okay, he's doing it in the background. Getting them to aim at him, he opened his mouth and let out a large bang. Oh my god, kill me. He opened his mouth and let out a bang. Air cannons whistled towards him. At the same time, Klein stretched out his hand and easily took out a flaring sun charm. He had already been activated and was just short of releasing its effects. He didn't believe that he would be able to survive such a repeated attacks. Amidst the booms, Klein suddenly heard a tick-tock. Oh shit, noise? The entire world seemed to stop for a moment before it returned to normal. I'm sorry, that Amon steal like time? Following that, he saw a huge hole in the dark sky. A ray of pure hot sunlight shone in and lit a golden charm. What the fuck? It was a flaring sun charm. It had turned into a huge ball of light that was engulfed by countless balls of flames. It's like raining meteorites. However, the target it attacked wasn't Klein. It had made an error and instead warped around the... He literally took themselves out. It had made an error instead warped around the Red Angel of War demigod. Oh. This is so big brain. Meanwhile, the vast amount of knowledge that Rizal Gustav had injected, the miracles created by the Antigonus, and the destructive sword which Ariana had swung out, the transparent tentacles that Zaratul extended, they all pointed at the same target in an enormous manner. Medici's black armored subordinate, at some point, the projection that consisted of a part of Medici's will first summoned an explosion in his mind. Even his instinctive reaction seemed to have disappeared. Then he was assaulted by a barrage of heavy attacks and quietly dissipated in mid-air. You can tag me unhinged. Ignore. Wearing a pointed hat and a classical mage robe, it was unknown when Amon had returned to the size of a human and landed at the bottom of the battlefield. He raised his right hand and adjusted the crystal molecule as a beam of light lit up. Behind his back, the ancient modeled clock phantom appeared once again. The longest second hand quickly spun half a round at an extraordinary speed. It took less than a second, but everything on the desolate moors seemed to have lost 10 to 20 seconds. The projection of the Antigonus historical projection disappeared. Antigonus is gone. Following that, results historical projection faded away. Finally, it was the historical projection of Zartul and Ariana, and now it's just the two of them. The amount of time they could be maintained had been stolen. Oh shit, they're gone. Klein, who was just about to commit unaliving for the third time, couldn't believe his eyes. Like, what the fuck? He had expected Blasphemer Amon to resolve the 5 ancient projections. After all, they were merely projections. A projection was much weaker than the actual body. However, Klein never expected the other party to be so casual about it. He didn't even have a chance to commit unaliving. He had to use his trump card in exchange for such an outcome. It was inevitable for him to feel disheartened and despair. Amon nudged his Monaco and took a step forward to appear in front of him. He smiled. If they were all at their true... I shouldn't have done that. Fuck, that hurts. If they were all their true bodies, it would be indeed more troublesome. However, the historical void projection has a very huge flaw, and grasping the problem of something is what I'm best at. Looking at this angel of time, whose smile remained the same, with his expression was one of delight, as though he hadn't been in a difficult situation just now. Klein's heart slowly sank as if he had fallen into an abyss. His spiritual perception was triggered as scenes quickly flashed through his mind. What the fuck, man? After entering the forsaken lands of gods, Amon had changed his clothes, going from a dark-colored jacket, trousers, to the black top hat that met the aesthetic standards of modern times, to a classic mage robe and a pointed hat. After that, he suggested a game of escaping and... Okay, we're recapping what's happening so far. After that, he suggested a game of escaping and obstructing. He had appeared extremely confident and wasn't worried about any mishaps. As his thoughts raced, Klein's throat turned dry, and I wish my throat can be dry when I'm reading. I'm always salivating when I'm reading. It's crazy, dude. As his thoughts raced, Klein's throat turned dry, and he said in a low and hoarse voice, "You are the true body?" Wait, this isn't a avatar? It's his real body? He seriously suspected that the person in front of him was Amon's true body, the true blasphemer, the whole kings of angels. The corners of the monocle of Amon's mouth curled up bit by bit. This is very interesting, isn't it? What? The expression on your face after knowing the truth is what I wanted to see in this game. He had clearly admitted that he was the main body. Oh shit, so it is the main body. He had clearly admitted that he was the main body. He was born accommodating the uniqueness of the Marauder pathway. He was peerless amongst the ranks of those beneath that of deities. Damn, what a badass. This meant that unless a true deity descended, no matter how hard Klein struggled, he wouldn't be able to escape from Amon's hands. Oh, because it's the true body. He's just too much stronger. Amon, he's a fucking good troll. Damn good gaslighter, I'll tell you that much. And this was the forsaken lands of gods. The only active deity was the true creator, and he wasn't too interesting in Sephira Castle. Yeah, that's true. He ain't gonna help, dude. Although he has suspected that Amon beside him had swapped with his actual body, Klein, who had experienced countless instances of hope only to have them destroyed, experiencing what was the ultimate sense of despair when he was truly certain of it. If it wasn't for the fact that the Terror Club involved Miss Justice, Leonard and company, as well as how he knew that Amon was best at deception, he would have admitted defeat and expressed his willingness to become his blessed. Isn't it normal to join the ranks of his opponents if you can beat them? Isn't it normal to join the ranks of the opponents if you can beat them? As he lampooned, a thought suddenly flashed through his mind. He recalled the words that Amon had previously said. What words were that? That's a KOA standing in front of Klein. His eyes lit up and he completely calmed down. Looking at Amon, he leisurely stretched his body and said with a smile, "Kill me." Oh, shit. And now we're going back to what we've been saying this whole time. The moment Amon arrived at the Forsaken Lands and changed outfits, it was actually the Amon avatar. Oh, is that what that was? I thought he was just changing outfits to fit the theme of the place. The moment Amon arrived at the Forsaken Lands and changed outfits, yeah, when he changed, it was actually the Amon avatar switching places with the main body. This whole time, bro, was trolling. Wait, so does that imply Klein is quite... Long story short, he's fucking cooked. Wait, so I'm sorry. If Amon's body... Does that mean Amon's body is stuck in the Forsaken Lands? And he can only... So does that mean... Like, I feel like he can only send his marionettes to the real world. And if he switched bodies and... So maybe he can't... Like, maybe he can't directly go through the abyss, right? Through that tunnel. To like, travel between them. Between the two paths. Because we never saw his real body in the real world. Who knows? Who knows? Good answer, username. We never saw his real body in back in Backland and all that. We don't know. Yeah, we don't know. Back over there, we only know that it was his avatars. And presumably his real body would be somewhere close. Maybe, maybe not. And we know from the mural depictions, when a true deity, which that's what Amon is, they got corrupted. Okay. Okay. Man, this really gets the brain jogging. Damn, you were 2's quicker. Thank God I didn't miss the stream completely. What's up, Vic? You joined, bro. Its name. You joined just in time for whatever the fuck its name is. All right. Oh, shit. D is like, only fucking use emotes this chapter. And then, remember, yeah, shut the fuck up. Okay, only use... We don't gotta go in emo mode. It's happening. Okay. I was gonna say, if you guys make me make coffee, I can go longer. But I'm getting hyped up. Dude, look, I'm getting fucking sweaty, dude. It's so hot. I didn't read whatever those spoilers were, be it accidental or not. Okay, very important. After you finish this chapter, play the song I sent in chat. Just trust. All right, I remember you did say, like, I'm gonna make you play a song no matter what. All right, I trust you. I trust you, Cammy. All right. Its fucking name? I'm sorry. What? Chapter 1166. Damn, we unsent a few messages. God damn. You guys are excited. No, it's okay. It's okay. We're just a little excited. Chapter 1166 is called Its Name. Lightning one... Oh, I should really charge my watch so you guys can see my heartbeat, dude. All right. Lightning once again lit up the desolate moors that were blanketed with grayish yellow fog. It illuminated the spot where an angel-level battle had just appeared. Okay? Illuminated the calm smile on his face. Amon looked at him for a few seconds before nudging his monocle and smiling. Can't you say something else? You seem to have found new hope. Klein smiled, didn't change as he clenched his fist to get to his nose and stuck one hand into his pocket. I just suddenly understood something. It turns out that it's not too demoralizing to play this game with your true body. On the contrary, this shows that you have no way of stealing my destiny. Oh, shit, okay. Oh, Amon smiled as he spoke in tone, as though he was looking forward to what Klein would say next. Klein laughed and said without any hesitation, otherwise, once I entered the Forsaken Lands gods, you would have directly stolen my destiny. Oh, that's true. He could have just, like, why the fuck? Oh, there's right. He has to have some limitations, because if he's just toying with people, he's even acknowledged it back then. Like, oh, like if she was paying attention. Klein laughed and said without any hesitation, otherwise, once I entered the Forsaken Lands of Gods, you wouldn't have directly stolen my destiny and become the new owner of Sephira Castle. And he didn't. Even if you want to play a game of escaping and obstructing, you could have waited until the main goal was achieved before doing so. That way, you would have been taking any risks, and having lost my chance of resurrect and my original destiny, all put it an even greater effort into escaping due to my instinctive to survive. Indeed, the god of mischief might do something that disregards danger, doing so in pursuit of excitement, but you're still the god of deceit. Having said that, Klein looked at the unperturbed expression on Lamont's face and paused. He paused. Thank you for subscribing. Dude, Mick, thank you for being member 1. Thank you. All right. And he paused. I know that you really have the ability to steal the destinies of others, but being capable of doing something doesn't mean that you'll do it. This requires a risk assessment. He doesn't want to take the risk, as well as weighing and analyzing the pros and cons. Oh shit, the cons outweigh the pros, okay? I believe that you don't wish to steal my destiny directly. This will make you bear the burden of everything brought about by Sephira Castle. What the fuck is... I'm sorry, what's gonna happen to Klein that's so dangerous? You have to resist the trauma of the resurrection of its initial owner. Even for a kings of angels like you, this is also very dangerous. If you aren't careful, you can perish. Therefore, you want to... How the fuck does Klein figure this out? Therefore, you want to find a loophole. You want to get Sephira Castle without suffering the negative effects. And this requires my permission. When he said that, Klein thought of the experience of getting hit by the computer viruses in his previous life. Those... Just use, the Norden cleaner, whatever it was back in the day. And this requires my permission. When he said that, Klein thought of the experiences of getting hit by his computer viruses in his previous life. Those viruses would always pretend to be normal and cheat him into giving him permission. This was somewhat similar to the current situations. After hearing Klein's words, Amon looked at him without a word. Instead, he calmly adjusted the... Oh, he didn't even smile. Okay. He calmly adjusted the crystal monocle. Dude, this, I'll be honest, chat looks pretty fucking badass in emo mode. Or just spamming emos. It looks pretty badass, I ain't gonna lie. He calmly adjusted his crystal monocle. Oh, he's stressing now. Klein smiled and continued. From the moment you parasitized me, you've been setting up a huge scam. On the one hand, you've given me the option of becoming your blast, which he refused, telling me that your true body can withstand my destiny, causing me to bear a heavy psychological burden. In the subsequent journey, you constantly made me see hope before destroying it, time and time again. From time to time, you'll give me a time limit, making me unknowingly seize an opportunity and catch my breath. Then you suddenly shorten the trip, disrupting my plans. Finally, you reveal the card that you're the true body, sending me into the abyss of despair, so as to destroy my will and dismantle. Fuck, dude. Klein is so level-headed, and dismantle my mental defenses. I would completely break down and choose to become your bless and agree to that hidden transaction. Ah, a hidden transaction. After hearing everything in silence, Amon suddenly laughed and raised his hands to gently clap. Perfect deduction. Ah, that's Sherlock Moriarty right there. Perfect deduction. Look, he still got a little bit of Sherlock in this persona. Perfect deduction. However, you seem to have missed what? However, you seem to have missed a problem. What I said was to see my real body at a sufficient safe place. Then your destiny will be taken away. That's true. Now that we haven't reached our final destination, I naturally won't take the risk. Klein's expression sank slightly before he relaxed again. He's like, oh shit, and he's back. I'm looking forward to how different the developments will be there. He responded to... He's literally just talking like him. He responded to Amon in his style. The genius king of angels adjusted his monocle and pointed to the side with a smile. Soon will arrive in less than half a day. How long is that exactly? Like a minute? I just read that half an hour. How long is that exactly? Klein exceedingly lacked trust in Amon's vague description. Amon scratched his comp. He's so funny. Half a day. An hour. Half an hour. Amon scratched his chin and chuckled. Half an hour. You sent what? You sent 5 gifts, Philip? Bro, thank you. That's so, dude. Thank you so much. Half an hour, dude. Awesome, dude. We got 5 new members. That's 5 new emos to spam, dude. That's so sick. Klein turned his head to look in the direction where Amon had pointed. He only saw deep darkness, nothing else. A bolt of lightning streaked across the desolate moors, but even further away was a thick grayish white fog, yellow fog. I'm sorry, if we're doing ... I'm gonna be so fucking pissed if we switch POVs. Why are we in fucking Backland, bro? Can we go back to the convo? Backland, Emperor's Borough. In the hall... Oh, sorry. Okay, we're only halfway through the chapter. We can still recover. Backland, Emperor's Borough, and the Hall family luxurious villa. After 2 days of chaos, Audrey's life finally regained some peace. This made her even more curious about the truth behind the king's assassination. Considering how Mr. Fool had seemingly hinted that the Terror Gathering would be cancelled today, Audrey decided to pray to the existence in advance and establish a connection with the world Grimminsboro to figure out the corresponding situation. The moment she glanced at Susie, the golden retriever immediately walked out of the room, closed the door with her legs. She kicks it, passing, and sat outside. Audrey sat down, took on a prayer pose, and recited an ancient Hermes. The fool that doesn't belong to this era. Backland Eastboro inside a 2-bedroom rental apartment. Do you think there'll be a gathering today? There's no formal notice. Force took out her pocket watch for woman and opened it. She shook her head. I don't know. Everybody's like, what's going on? Force couldn't sit still any longer. She let her seat and paced back and forth anxiously. Dude, thank you for subscribing. As she muttered to herself, Mr. Roll didn't respond. Neither did Mr. Fool respond. As she spoke, Force suddenly looked at her friend who was eating some ham. You sent 10 gifts? Dude, holy shit. Thank you for sending 10 gifts. Oh my god. Yo, you guys got chill, man. Thank you. What the fuck? We got 70 plus people here right now. Holy shit. Thank you guys. Oh, this is hype. As she spoke, Force suddenly looked at her. Imagine. All right, guys. And now we're going to end stream right now. That'd be such a swindling bitch ass move that I will not do to you guys. Or would I? As we grab our monocle. I lost my monocle. As she spoke, Force suddenly looked at her friends who were eating some ham. She hurriedly said, Shio, why don't you try praying to Mr. Fool and ask if the gathering will be held as scheduled today? I'm going to raise the volume. Shio frowned slightly as she put down her fork and nodded. Okay. She also found the situation a little strange. Holy shit, that's a lot of notifications. Thank you, guys. Okay. She also found the situation a little strange. She clasped her hands and held them under her chin. Shio took a deep breath and said in a low voice, "The fool that doesn't belong to this era. Backland Northborough under..." Okay, we're changing POVs and we're still in Backland. Backland Northborough underground the St. Samuel Cathedral in the room behind Chan's Gate. Okay, we're Leonard. Oh, Emlyn White woke up. Oh, he's still locked up. Emlyn White woke up feeling puzzled over the dream he had. He had apparently dreamed of the sanguine ancestor Lilith. Okay, coincidental, we're dreaming of the ancestor Lilith. In his dream, he was trapped in a castle covered in red grapevines, one he couldn't escape from no matter how hard he tried. Later, through a narrow window from high... we are unsending so many... We haven't unsent this many messages in a long time. Yo, Wiz, even you got a message unsent? What the hell did you hint at? Later, through a narrow window from high above, he was trying to get me with that one spoiler, huh, guys? Later, through a narrow window from high above, he saw the crimson moon outside and a pair of bat wings that covered half of the crimson moon. In the lengths of the sanguine, this was one of the symbols of the ancestor... I'm sorry, Lilith? This is one of the symbols of the ancient goddess Lilith. Right on the heels of that, Emlyn flew up high in excitement, attempting to open the narrow window. At the bottom of the glass, he found a tarot card. On the surface of the tarot card was a lad dressed in a gorgeous... I'm sorry, does he have a card? Card of blasphemy? On the surface of the tarot card was a lad dressed in gorgeous clothes. He was wearing a splendid headgear with a stick over his shoulder. Shut the fuck up. Why am I reading down the bottom? There was a... Who the fuck brought him this? There was a bindle hanging on the end of a stick, and a puppy was following behind him. The Fool card. Wait, what? What just happened? Emote only? Don't right. Don't fucking right. He was wearing a splendid headgear and a stick over his shoulders. There was a bindle hanging on the end of a stick, and a puppy was following behind him. The Fool card. At this point, who's the puppy? The Fool card. At this point in his dream, Emlyn naturally woke up. So this is all happening in his dream. As a sanguine Viscount... I'm sorry, is this Susie? Emote only? Okay, I won't read just in case. It must be because of my current situation that this dream appeared. That star actually didn't deliver any human blood to me. I am indeed the target of the ancestor's benediction. She is hinting to me if I wish to escape from my predicament, I have to obtain help from Mr. Fool. Okay, oh, never mind. I thought it was a card of blasphemy. Okay, never mind. What day is it today? Forget it. I'll just pray. How does he not realize it's Monday, dude? Forget it. I'll just pray. That way I can leave as soon as possible. Emlyn sat up with his hope as he piously chanted, "The fool that doesn't belong..." Dude, everybody is praying. The fool that doesn't belong to this era. Above the great fog, the three crimson stars that corresponded to justice, judgment, and the moon began to expand and shrink, emitting light to create ripples. They merged into the dark red tides. Oh, look, they're all light-seeking, okay? They merged into the dark red tide that originally existed, causing the shockwaves in the mysterious space to instantly intensify. Okay, this is the most we've had in one day. Amidst the quake, the tide flooded the ancient and majestic palace, lighting up one mysterious symbol after another behind the 8 seats of the long bronze table. This brought a new halo and resonance accompanied by a buzzing sound. Okay, this is new. At the end of the long model table, the back of the full seat... Okay, something's happening. At the end of the long modeled table, the back of the full seat lit up as well. The complicated symbols formed by the contorted lines and pupilless eyes kept extending outwards, becoming layers and extremely three-dimensional. It's becoming three-dimensional. The dark... I'm sorry. Is this the dark red eye when it sees tide? From when he resurrected in the Dunqua? The dark red tide was attracted over and formed a figure on the high back chair belonging... So this isn't Klein, this is somebody else. On the high back chair belonging to the Fool. This figure wasn't stable enough... This is high. It has to be the Fool, right? This figure wasn't stable enough. It distorted and scattered from time to time, hardly capable of maintaining its form. On a desolate moor covered with grayish yellow fog, Klein paused for a moment and looked up at the lightning that streaked across the sky. He then retracted his gaze, holding the lantern in his hand. He followed beside him on it, deep in the endless moor. The moor, as I raised the volume... The more the man and the king of angels proceeded, the more ravines and the ground had. Similarly, their depths became more and more exaggerated. At about 10 minutes later, another bolt of lightning streaked across the sky. Not far away, Klein saw a single-eyed giant with a bluish-black pupil pacing back and forth. It towered tens of meters. His body, it's a giant. His body was covered in traces of rotting pus. His eyes were sunken and lifeless. It was obvious that he was dead. However, he continued wandering around. That is such a sad life. He continued wandering around. Grayish-yellow gas emitted from his body, interweaving in mid-air to create the fog over the moor. The yellow fog. The grayish-yellow fog that enveloped the vast moor. I'm sorry, is the vast moor the knowledge moor? Oh, shit, this is one of the 9. How? Oh, 7 lights? 7 colors? 7 fogs. Huh? Wait, however, he continued wandering around the grayish-yellow gas emitted from his body, interweaving in mid-air to create the fog over the moor. No, okay. The grayish-yellow fog that enveloped the vast moor was actually generated by this bluish gas giant. Okay, never mind, it's by the giant. The youngest son of the giant King Armir, the god of glory, I cannot pronounce his name, Bladel. He publicly cursed my father and was punished to forever roaming this area. What the fuck? Oh shit. He has long died in the cataclysm, but he still wasn't able to free himself. Amon looked at the giant and smiled. If I hadn't stolen the corresponding damage dealt to you, you would have been contaminated by the fog created by the... I'm sorry, so he's trying to help. He's trying to keep him alive for his benefits. If I hadn't stolen the corresponding damage dealt to you, you would have been contaminated by the fog created after Badel's death. You would have become a cursed entity that roams this area. Oh shit, and he helped him. One would say that was a little tsundere, you know? Amon is not tsundere. I'm gonna take that back. I'm gonna retract that statement really quickly. Do I have to thank you? Suddenly, Klein felt that he had entered a myth. With him in tow, Amon continued forward. Soon they approached a bluish-black single-eyed giant. There was an extremely deep ravine on the spot where the giant was loitering about. As the lightning flashed, a thick and vast grayish-white building appeared in the bottom. A building? With just a glance, Klein's eyelids twitched slightly as he recalled the scene he saw when he was divining the unshattered crucifix. Okay, something with Adam. If he removed correctly, this should be where the ancient sun god, the city of silver, created Amon and Adam's father walked out. Oh! Oh! Ooh! I didn't read chat, don't worry. When he was prophesizing the origins of the unshattered crucifix, this is the place. Right? This is the holy night where my father was awoken, buried in its history I wish to seek. Wait, buried in it is the history I wish to seek. My father told me that this place has an ancient name called what? Wait, before I read, hold up, I should not read that. As a streak of silver lightning tore through the sky, the black-robed Amon paused as he widened his arms, saying with a... D, that was badass as fuck, dude. Chernobyl? What the fuck? What? I'm sorry, what is going on? What the fuck is happening in this series? I'm sorry, are things like colliding? Wait, chat is going so fast I can't get the music. Wait, okay. Chernobyl? Do we loop this? I'm looping it. YouTube, play. Wait. As a streak of silver lightning tore through the sky, the black-robed Amon paused and he widened his arms, saying with a solemn tone, Chernobyl. Oh my god. Bro. Can we just... This is one of the most badass arcs I've ever fucking looked at, dude. Wait, look at that. Look at that. What the fuck? Why are we in Chernobyl? What? I don't get it. Wait, let me try this up here. This music hits so hard right now. Let me loop this. I'm sorry, is this got... Oh, it's from Shin Godzilla? Alright, I'll do it for you guys. Movies are clearly copyrighted, but it's okay. I'll take it for you guys. Oh my god. Okay. Alright, that was hype. This is fucking hype. Chernobyl. Let's keep reading, dude. Let's just fucking keep reading. Let me catch up with chat. Oh my god, there's... This music hits so hard. Okay. Dude, I have not watched Shin Godzilla. I missed out on this movie. But let's do timestamps. All right, by the way, D, that was an amazing use of a soundbite. That was cinema. Absolutely cinema as fuck. Okay, let's keep going. Now we can type. You guys can type now. Music cut off? Music cut off? Do I stop it? Dude. All right, chapter 1167, When the Stars Are Right. Chernobyl. Upon hearing Amon's words, Klein's first reaction was one of shock. I'd be shocked. Back when they were approaching the bluish-black singled-eyed giant, he had come up with many possibilities, but he had never expected to hear such a name. So I'm sorry, is the yellow fox supposed to be like radiation? Type equals timeout. He had never expected to hear such a name. Back when they were approaching the... Well, I was about to be stuck in a time loop. This was akin to seeing a machine gun appeared in an ancient oil painting or a novel's plot point and appearing in a scientific paper. It was filled with unbelievable contradictions, error, and the next second he thought of the funny matter about how the ancient sun god had to use his rib to create the dark angel, like Adam. He had used his rib to create the dark angel, Sasrir, but named his eldest son Adam. He instinctively believed that the current situation was similar and he couldn't help but laugh. To have a Mon who was so powerful that he was almost a bug in the real world, a king of angels who always wore a sinister smile on his face, speaks the name with such seriousness and solemnity. It made Klein unable to hold back his laughter. Besides, he had no intention of controlling himself. It's best if he gets angry when his embarrassment and kills me. The reason Amon is this way today has largely to do with the ancient sun god's method of upbringing. The corners of Klein's mouth curled into smile, prepared to ruthlessly vent his inner laughter. At this moment, another bolt of silvery white lightning streaked across the sky, illuminating a deep ravine. It made Klein once again see the grayish... I'm going to lower the volume down a bit. Let me just lower for me on my end a bit. It once again see the grayish-white building at the bottom. This was a building that was completely different from the current style of the 4th, 3rd, and even the 2nd epoch thump. Klein's heart rapidly contracted before it expanded again. The smile he had just made froze on his face. Thump, thump. When he heard his own heartbeat, he suddenly had the common sense he had regaining the present world appear in his mind. 12 months a year, 365 days a year. Has leap years. Wait, what's clicking? Something's clicking in him that's not clicking in me. 12 months a year, 365 days a year, has leap years just like the real world. 24 hours a day, 60 minutes an hour, 60 seconds a minute. It's confirmed to be a planet. I'm sorry, are we in the... Wait. It's confirmed to be a planet. There's a sun and a moon in the sky. Ba-thump, ba-thump, ba-thump. I'm stressing out over here right now, guys. I'm stressing the fuck out. What's happening? Klein's instinct prevented him from thinking any further, but deep in his heart, there was still a voice. Oh, shit, dude. I got a tear in my eye. This is hype. Could it be that I've never... Could it be that I've never actually transmigrated? I've always been on Earth this entire time, but I've been hanging from the door of light above the great fog for too long, making me truly not believe to this era. Chill the fuck out. As this thought, I'm sorry. So, Klein and everybody in the cocoons are like the ancient civilization? Is that what the fuck this is? Like, we are from the ancient civilization? As this thought formed, many details that didn't catch his attention spewed out like a volcano in his mind. What the fuck? As his thought formed, many details that didn't catch his attention spewed out like a volcano in his mind. To the easternmost front of the Sonia Sea, before entering the ruins of the battlefield of gods, there are rotting and crumbling steels building around the ancient well that appeared to be left behind by humans. Like from our time? The northern and southern continents are over. Dude, no fucking wonder you guys send me the map. Was it Earth? That's why you guys never wanted me to see the map. That's why you guys never wanted me to see the map from volume 1. Oh, emote only. Oh, I'm not gonna read yet. This dude, emote only wall is one of the craziest shits I've ever seen. The northern and southern continents are overly very similar in shapes to the northern and southern America. However, a large part of the isthmus and that connects to the two landmasses have been wiped away by some kind of power, forming the Berserk Sea with its complicated and winding sea routes. Also, the Sonia... This is so fucking hype. Also, the Sonia Island is like the gigantic landmass in the north that drifted south. Mid-Seer Shara is like the expected and connected versions of the Great Lakes of the North America. It's as though it suffered a strike from a massive meteor. I'm sorry, what? The mountains and rivers of the northern continent have changed a lot, but the overall shape is barely recognizable. No. Send it. Send the music change. I'm about to pass out. Whenever you need me to change music, Cammy, send it. Just when you send it, send it. I'm gonna look for the blue. I'm looking at the blue. Whenever there's blue, I'm gonna double check. In that case, the western continent, where the elves come from, and the Forsaken Lands of Gods, and eastern continent will correspond to Chernobyl. In the Legends of Treasures Out at Sea, there's a lost civilization called the New Ones. It sank somewhere in the Fog Sea. The Giant King's parents are humans. Oh, from Earth. Oh, what? They were Earthlings. They were like us, like our generation. The Giant King's parents are humans. Oh my God, bro! How the this? The Giant King's parents are humans. The Sanguine elves also seem to originate from humans. I previously had two questions. Why would Sephira Castle grab transmigrators from Earth? Why would all of them be people from my era? This can also be explained. How? Please elaborate. In the short span of 2 to 3 seconds, it was as if lightning was constantly exploding in his mind. This caused his lips to tremble slightly as though he was trying his best to contain his backlash of his revelations. Oh my God. But the moon in this world is crimson. The constellations are somewhat different from those of Earth. Oh, the stars are different? I'm not an astronomy aficionado, okay? So I can't remember it clearly. However, the Emperor consumed the potions from the Savant pathway. If the cosmos was completely identical, he would have discovered it a long time ago. The opposing opinion appeared in Klein's mind. They were like a strong anchor preventing his ship from being blown away from the port in the midst of the storm. See, this is a ship I get by. But 1 second later, he remembered 2 lines. One sentence was a terrifying prophecy that he had heard online in his previous life. I'm sorry, we had prophecies in the real world. When the stars are right, chaos will rise from underground and the great oldest ones will awaken. Wait, he heard this in the real world? The other was, be careful of the moon. So he heard this back on Earth. He heard this in his... I'm sorry, what? 1 second was a terrifying prophecy that he had read online in his previous life. When the stars are right, that's the name of the chapter, right? When the stars are right. When the stars are right, chaos will rise from the underground and the great oldest one will awaken. The other ones, be careful of the moon. This is set up, dude. That prophecy wasn't randomly made up. How? When the stars are right, so this resulted in previous discrepancies. Klein almost ignored Amon in front of him. Even his body began to tremble. He used a great deal of strength before he sighed inwardly. Perhaps I've never left my hometown, but I will never be able to return home. Oh, man. Just as he came to this understanding and realization, the grayish-white fog silently appeared in front of him. This time, he directly stood in front of the waning forest, which corresponded to the end of the first epoch and the early stages of the second epoch. Unlike the past, the boundless gray fog in front of him was no longer empty. Deep in the fog, in a very far distance, points of shattered light were lit. I'm sorry, going back to the Sephiric Castle, who was the thing trying to maintain form? There were like lighthouses. There's been a lot of lighthouses, okay? Deep in the fog, in a very far distance, points of shattered lights were lit up. There were like lighthouses illuminating the paths of history. They led Klein forward as they traced back thousands of years or even further. Then he saw the resplendent bluish black door of light. He saw transparent cocoons hanging above it, and himself in a t-shirt and loose pants. This is so fucking badass, dude. I've never read anything like this, man. Oh, man. Emo only people. Then he saw the resplendent bluish black door of light. He saw transparent cocoons hanging above him. It was himself in a t-shirt and loose pants. An invisible wind blew past as the grayish-white fog beneath the door opened, layer by layer, revealing cities. Oh, shit. There were tall skyscrapers with all kinds of cars parked frozen to pedestrians that walked past. The only thing that closely resembles this is like near, man. When you find out like the past civilization was our world. Wow, man. One by one, I really thought we isekai'd. Motherfuck, man. One by one, these cities were covered in grayish white dust. Many buildings had collapsed, broken steel bars tearing out of their frames. Some of the cars have caved in, others had broken down. There were even some that had been squashed into metallic pancakes. The passers-by looking lifeless like wax figures. Upon seeing this scene, Klein stopped. What's going on? Is this like the apocalypse? Let me reread this. It's like nuclear fallout? What's going on here? One by one, these cities were covered in grayish white dust. Many buildings had collapsed. Broken steel bars tearing out of their frames. Some of the cars had caved in. Others had broken down. There were even some that had been squashed into metallic pancakes. The passers-by looked lifeless like wax figures. Upon seeing the scene, Klein stopped and stared intently. He knew very well what this world was. This world was Earth? At that moment, he completely... So fucking hype. At that moment, he completely digested the scholar of your potion. Get the fuck out of here. What other way to digest and learn the fucking origins, man? Holy shit, dude. This is so hype. I'm so sweaty right now. Dude, there's 80 of you guys. This is crazy. Suddenly, Klein's consciousness returned to the real world. He realized that his connection with Sephara Castle had strengthened. Amidst the buzzing sound, the resonance generated by the prayers of the Terror Club members grew in intensity. Previously, he could use them vaguely to sense Sephara Castle above the Great Fog and see that Klein in the full seat was trying to establish some sort of connection with a... with a dark red warping figure that was about to take form. What the fuck is this red figure? It has to be the red eye when he resurrected at the end of the season 1 Dunkwa. With a dark red warping figure... I lost my place. Hey man, I lost my place after who knows how long. It's been 2 hours. I probably lost my place. Red figure. Red figure. Where is it? Give me a sec. Where the fuck did I read that? The red thing. I'm gonna just reread the page. Suddenly, Klein's consciousness returned to the real world. He realized that his connection with Sephara Castle had strengthened. Amidst the buzzing sounds, the resonance generated by the prayers of the Terror Club members grew in intensity. Previously, he could use them to vaguely sense Sephara Castle above the Great Fog and see that Klein at the full seat was trying to establish some sort of connection with a dark red warp. Okay, thank God I didn't read lore. With a dark red warping figure that was about to take form. In an instant, he came to a realization. There was no longer a need for him to... He's doing it at will. There was no longer a need for him to chant the incantation or take 4 steps counterclockwise. With a mere thought, his spirit body could enter Sephara Castle, becoming one with that figure. This was undoubtedly the best opportunity... Yeet! We get out! This was undoubtedly the best opportunity for him to escape. He couldn't be bothered to marvel at the fact that this world was Earth. Believing that Amon definitely didn't know of such a development, Klein immediately thought of jumping straight towards Sephara Castle. At this moment, the corners of his eyes reflected the pointy-hatted, demonical classical mage robe. Amon curled his lips into a smile, one that spoke of endless joy. He is so excited, bro. Music change! Music change! I caught it! I caught it! Music change! I caught it! I caught it! I caught it! Okay. Joy? Joy? Give it a sec. Internet. Come on, internet. Internet. All right, we're good. It's playing. It's playing. Internet. Fuck is this? It sounds good. Okay. Klein's mind suddenly exploded as all his thoughts were occupied by the crazy ravings of Amon. Okay. You're right. I didn't want to steal your destiny, bearing the burden while becoming the new owner of Sephira Castle. You're right. This was a scam that has been going on since the beginning. Wow, hold up. Music is so loud. Give me a second. Let me lower it a bit more on my end. However, the core of this scam was to make you think that me giving you hope and destroying it was to break your will and to make you agree to become my blessed. That's not the case. If I hadn't specifically changed my clothes when I entered the Forsaken Lands of Gods, as well as my accidental use of the error powers, would you have been so sure that my true body was... He fucking bamboozled me. So it's not his real body? Would you have been so sure that my true body was already here? Could it be... Wait. Is Amon the body that's trying to appear and phase in and out in Sephira Castle? Could it be possible that the god of the seed doesn't understand that changing one's image would expose many problems? This music is really good. Did you think that I wouldn't understand what the name should... Did you think I wouldn't understand what the name Chernobyl means? I've been in the Forsaken Lands of the Gods for more than thousands of years. For more than 1,000 years, I've been searching for the oldest traces of history, the ones that go far beyond the first epoch, Earth. The true goal of this journey was to give you some time and give you some historical knowledge to aid you. I knew he's aiding him. He's trying to help him for whatever reason. To aid you in digesting the scholar of your portion so that you can relax your vigilance in this area. Then when your connection with Sephira Castle deepens and your attempt to trigger it, I'll seize this opportunity and use a loophole to... I'll seize this opportunity. Fucking 5D chess. I'll seize. This might be a scam in and of itself. Maybe he's revealing a fake revelation. I'll seize this opportunity and use a loophole to steal Sephira Castle. And he's gonna be like, psych! The destiny shall be yours and Sephira Castle shall be... Oh! That's fucked up. The destiny of Sephira Castle shall be yours and Sephira Castle shall be mine. And so he's not bound to Sephira Castle's destiny, but he has that. Okay? Not only did the terrifying ravings from the King of Angels continue the sounds of Amon's chuckle, but they also wreaked the havoc of Klein's mental state. They were no weaker than Mr. Door's roars. The surface of Klein's skin began to show signs of protruding worms. Oh my god, hold it together. Worms of spirit is brought back to the brink of losing control. In his body, a 12-segmented worm of time burrowed out. Oh, he did have a worm in him. In his body, so he did have one he couldn't sense. In his body, a 12-segmented worm of time burrowed out, transforming into an Amon phantom wearing a black mage robe and a matching pointy hat and crystal monocle. He had parasite Klein at a superficial level. Yeah, that's what he's been thinking. At a superficial level, not to monitor his thoughts, but rather to take control of the situation at the critical moment through the parasitizing him at a deeper level. He wanted to seize this opportunity. In the beginning, Amon had used a deeper level, parasitizing with the one main goal to parasitize a worm of time at a superficial level. Big brain. In the beginning, Amon had used a deeper level of parasitizing with one main goal. To parasitize a worm of time at a superficial level without the saint being able to detect it, i.e. Klein. The Amon projection turned back and gave Klein, who was unable to straighten his thoughts after being disrupted by the ravings, a look. It revealed a smile that was identical to its true body. The corners of his lips curled up slightly, carrying a look of endless joy. He is game over. Oh, it's game over. What's gonna happen? He turned around and used an invisible connection to leap towards Sephira Castle above the great fog. Who's leaping? Amon is leaping? This was This was similar to the situation of him parasitizing Derek Berg and trying to use the Crimson Star, the corresponding to complete the sun, to infiltrate the world above the Great Fog. But this time, no one was inside Sephira Castle to purify him, to close the door, to stop him on. This was a spectacular act. This was the god of deceit. Wow, that was the biggest deceit ever. My anchors. Okay, how the fuck... Okay. I'm still following. I'm following. I'm caught up. I'm following. I'm sorry, Nightshade. We're not reading SS. Music changed again. And dude, there's more. Freedom. We are unengaged right now. Bro, Klein versus Cooked. Klein he's fucking cooked. Bro, I'm sorry. He lost Sephira Castle. Like... Explain Chernobyl like I'm 5. Misses, I thought we had a deal. Oh shit, I'm sorry, babe. It's her. Explain Chernobyl like I'm 5. Oh shit. Okay, Leonardo MC. Definitely not Leonardo MC time. Babe, I thought we had a deal. I'm sleeping on the couch for you guys. Okay, before I read your explanation, I assume when he said Chernobyl, these are like the remnants of Chernobyl. Like there's still some lingering like remains of Chernobyl. Like it's the Chernobyl, not like some interpretation, but like it's the. Like there's some lingering. Well, that makes sense. Chernobyl, like of course that's gonna be there. Like there's gonna be radiation for thousands of years. Yes, real. Okay, now let me read it. I'm gonna read your explanations. You got it? I got it? Chernobyl is the remains of an old city. Proof that this is the same world that Klein didn't get sent to another one. Bro, what the fuck? You should understand all you need. Okay, now okay, hold up. Chernobyl's the friends we made along the way. So it's literal Chernobyl. This is Earth. Ancient sun god comes out of Chernobyl. Ancient sun god. Wait, I didn't get this part. Thank you for explaining this, D. So the ancient sun god literally came out from the ruins of Chernobyl. Oh my god. Also, easy, you spoil. I did a really big. You know what? No. Nier is a game that came out 2 console generations ago. That is not a spoiler. Nier is a 2-generation old game. That came out on the PS3, Xbox 360. For people playing Nier, I apologize. That should be common knowledge when you play Nier Automata. Nah, that was a spoiler. Nah, that is pre-existing knowledge before you even play the game. You did spoil Nier. No. I am playing Nier right now. I apologize. So, what time does bot matter for spoilers? Wait, hold up. Okay, now I have another question. So when we're going from like Backland to the Forsaken Lands of Gods, the Forsaken Lands of Gods is Earth, because we know that's where Chernobyl. I'm sorry. The sea. Okay, wait. So no, it's the Forsaken Lands of God. Oh my god. The Forsaken Lands of God is not it's not another world. Is the Forsaken Lands of Gods like Russia, Chernobyl? All of it is Earth. Oh, so like radiation of Chernobyl just destroyed all of the Eastern Hemisphere. So the whole planet is Earth. So the whole part where we're thinking, oh, it's like a different world, Forsaken Lands of Gods, and like back in Backland. No. Forsaken Land is Europe. Chernobyl is is it? Ukraine? So it's like all of that region territory. So all of Forsaken Lands is that region. I'm sorry, can I look at the map now or no? So he never, I understand the part that we're on Earth the whole time. Now what I'm trying to like establish, you know how like Amon took Klein at the beginning of this volume, through the door and ended up Forsaken Land. No, they just like leaped from one continent to the other. That's all it is. Map is fine out. Holy fucking shit. No wonder you guys told me to never look at the map from volume 1. No map yet? Okay. All right, all I know is now I realize why you guys never wanted me to see the map. Now I know. No map. Okay, no, I won't look at it. I know there's like slight different nuances and changes. No, holy shit. Okay. I think it should be good though. Okay. Oh, there's we're getting yays and nays. I'll still wait. I want to use the map as my thumbnail, but I don't think I should. Okay. Let me read this. Remember back in volume 1 when he first did cogitation, when he was asked to imagine something that doesn't exist in this world, he thought of missiles but cogitated didn't work. Oh, wait a second. We saw that in the Dunghua. Like he was trying, right? But it never happened because it always existed. You're right. I should not use the map as a thumbnail. Holy shit. As thumbnail? Yeah, you're right. I should not use the map. But dude, it'd be so fucking cool and abstract. And we're like 173 episodes deep into the playlist. I feel like I can use it. We'll do a poll. but like, if we're like 173 layers deep into it, maybe we can get away with it. Would that mean he can summon a clock? What the fuck? The whole time. Okay, no map. All right, no map. Okay, hard. That's a hard no. That's a hard no. Easy, no map. All right. That's a hard no. All right. I'll chill. I won't. Okay, I'll chill. That's a hard no, bruh. You see what Wiz wanted to put as a thumbnail for this chapter? Wiz wanted to put that. All right. Thank God he didn't. I'll be like, bro. What fucking doing? I would have easily gone and said, what fucking doing with that thumbnail? I'll be like, what the fuck does that mean? Oh, shit. Oh, seen the artworks? We need to take a quick 5. Get the fuck out of here. The fool that doesn't belong to this era. Klein's name was a hint all along. Also, Wiz saw the title for your stream and crashed out because it was so casual. Wait, what title? What was so casual? In volume 3, when he went into the sea with a girl from Katlia's ship, he saw deep holes in the seabed. Wait, deep holes, seabed. I'm not an ocean guy, but that's probably referencing something. That was petrol station boreholes. Oh, for such a, you know what, you're right. For such a crazy ass read through volume 6. Reading volume 6. It was oil, no oil. But it was petrol stations, that boreholes also. Roselle found no oil. Oh, because we've used it all. It was from an oil. There's no oil because we've used all of our fossil fuels. And everything just went to shit. I would assume that tectonic plates have shifted and broken those holes. That makes more sense. Does someone say, oh, quick 5. Quick 5. Some holes, but some remain prob. Wow. Jesus, man. Jesus, hallelujah. I need to turn off my night filter. This is... Wow. Holy shit. Interesting. That's putting it lightly. This is fucking phenomenal. What? What did I just read that? This also implies ancient sun god is Chernobyl? Would that imply that? If he was born from the remnants of Chernobyl. If he was, like, he came from the remnants of Chernobyl. Like, we know that. No? It should still be isekai? I am... Quick 5. Or is he trolling me? No, don't listen to that guy. Alright, I won't listen. Quick 5. Hey, look, before we start reading this chapter, you look so beautiful. Look at that. You got a little haircut. Look at your ears. Are you ready? Professor Ellie has arrived, man. Another big reveal for Easy. Look, now Ellie's reading this chapter. Ellie, come on, it's your turn. We are reading chapter 1168. Is called My Anchors. All right, are you guys ready? We're gonna keep going, man. Who got the hair around her eyes, bruh? Look like glasses, like a monocle. Wait, guys, this is our anchor for chapter 1168. This is our anchor. Oh, can I say it right? Probably not. This is our anchor, chapter 1168. Please, do I have timestamps? Okay. It's called My Anchors. Let's read. Damn, Ellie, you are panting like crazy. You need to calm down. Yo, you're scaring me. You feel a little hot. We're gonna relax. We're gonna chill. I'm gonna put you down. I'm gonna need you to calm down for a bit. Chapter 1168. It's called My Anchors. In the blink of an eye, Amon saw the grayish-white fog, the ancient, majestic palace above. He just needed to reach out his hands and pass through the final obstacle. Wait. Who was the thing that was manifesting in Sephira Castle? That has to be what pushes him away. There was still something trying to manifest. Final obstacle to truly touch Sephira Castle and directly occupy the place and in essence take it away. There was still something that was appearing. Wait, hold up. I haven't forgot about that. But at that moment, a gigantic bluish black palm suddenly appeared above Amon's phantom, blocking him from entering Sephira Castle. That is. I gotta go. Can you? Yeah, let's try. Let's pause. Amon's projection subconsciously turned its head and looked in the direction of the palm, and it saw the pus-covered one-eyed giant who had long since died. Giant King Armir? Thanks. You're welcome. Badel. Okay, wait, no. Who has long since died. Bladel, who is known as the God of Glory, still didn't show any signs of life in his exaggerated vertical eye. The curse of the grayish yellow fog kept emitting from his body. However, it was different from before. There were seemingly illusory black tubes. Oh shit, black tubes. Hold up. Artificial life. There were seemingly illusory black tubes behind his back that extended all the way into the infinite distance, and mysterious as to what they were connected to. Boom. The towering bluish-black giant instantly raises the volume on stream. That's what it says. The towering bluish-black giant instantly condensed a broadsword formed from the orange-red light of dusk. Holding it in one hand, he cleaved down at the side of the deep ravine where Amon's body was. The youngest son of the Giant King, the one who had died due to the curse, suddenly unleashed an unimaginable power after roaming aimlessly for thousands of years. The Twilight Sword tore through the void and jumped out from the spot. What's the sword called? The Twilight Sword? The Twilight Sword tore through the void and jumped out from the spot where the Angel of Time, Amon, was standing. It rippled through everything around it, turning into a storm that could easily destroy this desolate moor. Amon didn't move and remained standing there, no matter how orange-red sword storm raged. I read that wrong. No matter how the orange-red sword storm raged, it didn't harm him at all. He seemed to have used some sort of error in the world again. However, in this state, Amon was no longer able to transmit his ravings into Klein's mind. Okay, so he's free, allowing him to finally gain a sliver of peace. Okay, we get our anchor. Ignoring how he was about to lose control, he regained his clarity of his mind using the clear and real surroundings and the layers of prayers. Ellie, come here. Then he merely resonated with a dark red figure sitting up at the full seat. Then he immediately resonated with a dark red figure sitting at the full seat above the great fog, and he established a new connection. He didn't hesitate to return to Sephara Castle. And at this moment, Amon's phantom, which was attempting to infiltrate above the great fog, was obstructed by the bluish-black... By the bluish-black palm of the God of Glory, Bladel. He wasn't able to instantly break through the titanic obstruction. The monoculed King of Angels, be it his avatar or true body, opened his mouth and said a name. Evernight. Oh shit, Ellie's starting to bark. She's like, oh, Evernight's here? Yes, this was helping coming from the Evernight goddess, but it wasn't without reason. Hi. I can't look at Ellie right now. Your ears. Girl, she looks so much younger, but it wasn't without reason. Although Klein lacked confidence in this matter, he had already... I'll be honest, hold up. Ellie does look cuter with short hair. It's growing on me. Although Klein lacked confidence in this matter, he had already kept it as one of his trump cards. He only believed that it might not be effective and had a very low chance of success. It could only be used in a glimmer of hope at his most desperate hour. After entering the forsaken lands of gods and obtaining some space to think of its own, he worked hard to find resources available to him that could be used. Then he recalled something, the matter of the former chief of the City of Silver. I'm sorry. What is this? Is this red apparition stated what it is that he's seeing in Sephara Castle? I'm sorry. Should I know what this is yet? Is it implied what this is or no? The matter of the former chief in the city. What was it? God of Glory, Bladel? That is Klein only right now. Only Klein. I think it should be obvious by this point or not yet. Oh, wait, hold up. It's something that lets him instantly go above. It was written before. Okay. The matter of the former chief of the City of Silver, this demon hunter had attempted to switch the Sequence 3 for... I assume it'll be talked about more. Okay. This demon hunter had attempted to switch the Sequence 3 ferryman of the death pathway, but he ended up turning into a monster inside the mausoleum he built. This anomaly was related to illusory black tubes, and such a phenomenon had been seen in the numinous Episcopate's artificial death. In other words, the mutation of the former chief of the city of Silver was very likely related to artificial death. This indirectly explains something that, for some unknown reason, those that could influence the forsaken lands of the gods, other than the true creator, included artificial dev who had come to life to a certain level. And now artificial dev could be considered the Evernight goddess in some ways. Based on the reasoning, Klein suspected the goddess could use this uniqueness of the death pathway to exert a low level of influence to some degree on a certain things in the forsaken lands of gods. In addition, there were only 3 people involved in this matter regarding the former chief of Silver. One of them was the current chief Colin Iliad, the demigod elder Waint, I forgot his name, Waint Shermont, and Shepherd Elder Levia. They were either Sequence 4 saints or important believers of the true creator. It was impossible for them to be completely unaware that they had been parasitized by Amon. I'm sorry, if Amon knows about Chernobyl, what the fuck does Adam know? I feel like he's even more of an enigma now. As for the only person who received feedback from the escapee, it was Derek Berg, who was under the Fool's Watch. He wasn't one of Amon's parasites either. In other words, Amon wasn't aware of the former City of Silver chief abnormality involving the black illusionary tubes. That was key. Therefore, Ellie, come here. Therefore, even if he was able to guess that the Evernight goddess had obtained the uniqueness of the death pathway, causing the god of combat to have an intense reaction, there's no way for him to know that this would bring about the unforeseen developments in the Forsaken lands of gods. With this knowledge in his mind, Klein consciously performed certain tasks despite not having much confidence in the city that they believed in the Phoenix. He didn't take away the remaining death pathways beyond the characteristics, hoping to leave a trail. After summoning Zarathul's historical projection, he didn't seize the opportunity to commit unaliving immediately. On the one hand, he was afraid that Amon would still have the ability to stop. How would he still be able to do this? Amon would still have the ability to stop him and affect his agreements, while on the other hand, he tried to use the summoning of the servant and concealment Ariana projection to inform the Evernight goddess of the exact situation, and then she comes in. After completing these 2 matters, Klein had no idea what the final outcome would be. I don't know either. He had mostly focused his attention on the fact that Amon's avatar had been replaced by his true body. When he arrived at the final destination and saw the roaming angels' corpses, he had just thought of something when he was distracted by Amon's introduction. It took him only until just now to realize that the goddess had long gained some rudimentary control of the Giant King's youngest son through the death pathway's uniqueness, and that's the black tubes. She had been patiently waiting for an opportunity to use this cursed angel. I'm sorry, did she know the whole time that Klein would go here? And the only way for her to help him out at the right moment without him knowing, so his thoughts wouldn't get stolen by Amon, was to digest the uniqueness of the death pathway and then do that to Bethiel. Ellie, you want to go out? Let me let Ellie out. At the concealment forces that filled for the Forsaken lands of gods helped her conceal the illusory black tubes very well. Suddenly, in the ancient palace above the great fog of the full seat situated at the end of the long model table, the dark red figure that kept warping and scattered took form of the scholarly Klein with his black hair and brown eyes. With just a thought, Klein's consciousness and spirit body had returned to Sephira Castle. Following that, he used the close connection between his body and Sephira Castle, together with a prayer of the Terror Club members to amplify the resonance effect. He then saw himself, glazed eyes, on the brink of losing control. He saw Amon's projection, which had circled around the bluish-black palm using an error. The monocled Amon raised his head, making eye contact with Klein, who was seated at the full seat, okay? Making eye contact. Klein beckoned for the Sea God Scepter and raised it. The entire fog bowled as an entirety of Sephira Castle quaked. A vast amount of terrifying powers gathered over, transforming into a torrent of lightning. The blue gems that lit up at the same time set an illuminating light that surged down like a torrent, drowning Amon's avatar and his own body. No wonder, man, Cuttlefish was so excited to write this volume, bro. It's 5 a.m. for me. I'm gonna have to go. Dude, thank you so much for joining, D. I am sorry it's so late for you guys. A deep rub. I'm sorry for all my Eastern friends on the eastern side of the hemisphere. I apologize. A deep rumble of thunder echoed as a terrifying sliver of light tore everything it enveloped apart. Amon's projection disintegrated and Klein's body was destroyed. He had finally succeeded in committing unaliving. He fucking did it. He won, dude. Oh my god. What a true miracle. Dude, he has to drink potion too now, bro. Ain't no way he doesn't. Ain't no way he doesn't drink Miracle Evoker. Like, Miracle Evoker has to be given to him on a platter at this point. Like, he's earned Miracle Invoker. He's earned a full Can he use the historical void to do that? No, that would not work. After completing this attack, Klein, who was just high above the Great Fog, immediately cut off the connection between Sephira Castle and the real world, so as to prevent Amon's true body from creating any new... I know, we don't have the ingredients, but he's earned the right to just be given to it on the silver platter right now by the Evernight Goddess. Like, oh, you've escaped, here you go, drink it. Creating any new accidents. Right on the heels of that, he began to wait for his miracle, miracle sounds like a prerequisite for Miracle Invoker, and waited for his resurrection. Evernight Goddess needs to know all this and just has to have it ready for him. Besides the deep ravine, which had grayish-white buildings at the bottom, Mon's true body adjusted the crystal monaco, stealing the curse that kept Bladel existing. The bluish-black giant immediately began to rot, quickly being reduced to bones. The illusory black tubes didn't persist, and they instead shrank back into the depths of darkness. Dressed in a pointed hat and classical black robe, Amon stood there. He raised his head and looked into the sky silently for a few seconds, as though he was looking at Sephira Castle through the fog of history. Finally, he pinched the crystal monaco and muttered to himself as the corners of his mouth curled up. Interesting. In the ancient palace at the end of the long model table, Klein sat at the seat. That's all he has to say? In an ancient palace at the end of the long model table, Klein sat at the seat belonging to the fool. He carefully looked down at the grayish-white fog. Right now, he discovered that the Beyonder characteristics had been destroyed with his body and unknowingly entered the historical void. It fused with the worms of spirit, past turning them corporeal. You did say we were changing music. Okay. I got you. Alright. That's a little hype. That's a little hype. Oh! 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 Oh, this song slaps. As long as Klein oh man, this is very interesting. As long as Klein willed it for Sephira Castle, these worms of spirit would immediately be able to escape the fog of history and reform his body in the real world. The miracle of resurrection was essentially a deeper use of one's strength from the past. Miracles happen using the past and the future, okay? Klein frowned slightly as he attempted to analyze. Oh wow, oh my god, stream is crashing. No, don't disconnect me. Wait. I see an error. Oh, it's gonna disconnect and it'll reconnect. Just spam when it does. Miracles happen using the past and future. Klein frowned slightly as he attempted to analyze how the miracle in Miracle Invoker came about. After thinking for a few seconds, he quickly pulled his attention back and attempted to revive himself in Sephira Castle. Then he discovered a problem. His body could only be revived in the real world. Furthermore, it has to be within a certain range of his remains. What the fuck is he supposed to do? Wait, I'm on. Oh shit, get the fuck out of here. That's a little scary. What's up, dude? How you doing, man? Hey, we're on the same side, dude. His body can only be revived in the real world. Furthermore, it had to be within a certain range of his remains. As for his spirit body, it could be reborn above the Great Fog, but Klein's spirit body hadn't been destroyed. It was sitting on the high back chair of the fool. His spirit body was on the back chair the whole time. So I think that's what Mick meant by it was him. It was Klein's image. Okay, I'll read that right now at the end just to double check. Obtaining help from the past works, the number of resurrections I'm using now is depleting the numbers I'll have after I become a Miracle Invoker. Oh, he has to save it. From the looks of it, there's only one chance now. Tisk. Amon should be guarding my corpse now. I have to think of a way to get out of this predicament. His sense of time is different from a human's. Doesn't look like disconnected. Okay. Oh, I think it restabled. Okay, good. His sense of time is different from a human's. He's very patient, god of mischief. Yes, my current state can only be maintained for 3 days. After that period of time, I won't be able to borrow powers from the past to resurrect. If it really doesn't work, I'll just abandon my body and become an undead. Book 2? Klein's mind raced. Although he was somewhat vexed, he was in his most relaxed state over the past few days. He finally got out of the nearly hopeless situation. He looked at the high back chairs that had been symbolized, that had been symbols light up on their backs, as well as the briganding and contracting dark red stars. Klein exhaled and relaxed as he leaned back into his chair. He couldn't help but reveal a smile. Reveal a smile like I'm on. These are my anchors. Author's note. This are whoa, we're getting author notes already. I don't think I've ever seen author notes in the chapter, like in the actual chapter. Author's note. Wait, I need to loop the song. Author's note. This arc has it ends with these are my anchors, and then it's author notes. This arc has finally come to an end. The whole story origins was when I was reading the Cthulhu myth. When I saw the line about the stars being right, I suddenly thought of this. We often say that Cthulhu will awaken soon, but what happens in Cthulhu has already awakened. For those who don't know much about Cthulhu, it doesn't matter. Just treat the name as an evil god. After all, the corresponding deities were completely reconstructed by me. Oh shit, that's it? I thought he was gonna talk about it more. Oh shit, Klein's plan in chapter 1169. Alright. Wait, so let me just reread what Mick said. So I assume that was Klein's spirit body from what we read. Mick said, by the way, the red figure was just an image of Klein's created by the resonation of the prayers of all the Terror Club members probably. Oh, when they were all praying, it did cause a reaction. Okay, thank you. We are in your head easy, bro. They are rare most of the time, not translated to put in the EPUB, I think. Oh, okay. Got it. Oh, yeah. Chat check stream after lag moment. Some might have been pushed. But you guys, so yeah, some of you guys probably been delayed if there's been a delay. Tongue twister. Next chapter, chapter 1169. Nice. The flashing dark red glow slightly warmed Klein's heart. Timestamps are they? They're good. He felt that he wasn't that lonely and that someone still remembered him. That's sweet. As the illusory overlapping sounds of prayers became clearer and clearer, turning increasingly real, noisy and chaotic, he realized the Sephiric Castle was summoning him and the resonance between the two was growing stronger. After all the members of the Terror Club had completed their prayers, Klein had a vague feeling that he could enter Sephiric Castle at any time, allowing his consciousness to manifest there instantly. However, he was still obstructed by that one last obstacle. This problem was finally resolved after he completely digested the Scholar of Your potion. It was also... Wait, do I keep the music playing? It was also because of this that he had the opportunity to return to Sephiric Castle before Amon broke past the obstruction from the God of Glory, Bladel. Now, this song is copyrighted, so put another one so you don't have mute. Hold on. Yeah, I think. Luckily, if it gets claimed, I have the option to mute the song. If it just demonetized, I don't think it cares. As long as the video isn't restricted, I don't think it minds. We'll see what happens. It was also because of this that he had the opportunity to return to Sephiric Castle before Amon broke past the obstruction from the God of Glory, Bladel. In just 2 short days, all the members of the Terror Club had prayed. Generously speaking, there shouldn't be a coincidence like this. Some aren't problematic, but there are some that seem to have been affected by the goddess and will. I was lucky enough, so I naturally had a good development. After careful thought, he realized how unreasonable certain parts were, but this was something that could be explained, and there was no need to pay too much attention to it. When he said his spirit body was sitting on the chair, it was after he personally sat on the chair 2 paragraphs before. That was a separate thing. Okay, so the other thing was like a manifestation of all the prayers from Terror Club members. Okay, and not... Okay, that makes a little bit more sense, Mick. Yeah, because he did say it was completely separated. Okay, thank you. There was no need to pay too much attention to it. After changing his seating and posture slightly, Klein's gaze gradually darkened. Although he felt that he might not be able to return home, but the moment he saw the door of light and cocoons, he still felt that his hopes were completely destroyed upon confirming that this world was his former hometown. The light of dawn was swallowing by the darkness. Back then, using a fool that doesn't belong to this era as an honorific name might be a revelation given to me by my spiritual intuition. In the deepest part of my heart, I might have sensed something. Yes, I remember that I transmigrated while I was sleeping, but why was I wearing a t-shirt and loose pants while hanging in the cocoons? Klein frowned slightly as he cast his gaze at the grayish-white fog under Sephiric Castle. We still don't know how the cocoons happened. As he searched for the reason for the fragments of the light and the fog of history, he tried hard to recall every detail of that fateful night. Finally, he found the corresponding historical fragment. Zoe Mingruri, who was wearing a t-shirt and loose... Whoa. Oh, we're getting shit on this. What? Okay. Like prior to chapter 1, Zoe McGree, who was wearing a t-shirt and loose pants, set up a luck enhancement ritual before dinner. He took 4 steps counterclockwise and recited the incantations like the immortal lords of the heaven and earth for blessings. In his memories, nothing had happened back then. Okay, we knew that. But the scene in history wasn't like this. After Zoe McGree finished his 4 steps and completed the ritual, his face turned pale and his eyes glazed over. So he didn't go to dinner. Following that, he ate his meal in a daze. He read books, watched dramas, and fiddled with his phone as if he was completing a predetermined program. What? Finally, Zoe McGree came to sink and look at his lifeless eyes in the mirror. He brushed his teeth, washed his face, and went to bed. You can search chapter numbers, titles, use notes. During this process, he didn't change out of his t-shirt and loose pants. He covered himself with the blanket and closed his eyes. Before long, an intense light and violent shaking ended the corresponding historical scene. Klein couldn't help but raise his hand and rub his temples. He gave a self-deprecating laugh. So the idea of there not being any changes and everything being normal after the luck enhancement ceremony was simply what I concluded. In actual fact, my body had experienced certain anomalies. What the heck? Yo, man, thank you for tuning in for a little bit. If it were in the past, he would have definitely feel horrified and scared about the truth of the matter. However, after suffering from shock so many times, with his worldview nearly collapsing just moments ago, such a trivial matter was unable to generate any intense ripples in him. However, after discovering this, combined with the Emperor Transmigration, a result of buying a mysterious silver plate as well as one of the hanging spirit bodies in the transparent cocoons actually having a cell phone on them, Klein quickly had some guesses about what happened back then. It should be the owner Sephira Castle affecting reality. This meant disseminating the luck enhancement ritual. Mysterious slip. The plates. Wait, I'm gonna fucking reread. Let me lock in. Let me read this. If ever in the past, he would be shocked. He definitely before and scared of the truth of the matter. However, after suffering from shock so many times, with his worldview nearly collapsing just moments ago, such a trivial matter was unable to generate any intense ripples in him. Okay. However, after discovering this, combined with the Emperor's transmigration, a result of buying mysterious silver plate as well as one of the hanging spirit bodies in the transparent cocoons, actually having a cell phone on them, Klein quickly had some guesses about what had happened back then. It should be the owner of Sephira Castle affecting reality, dismantling the luck enhancement ritual, mysterious silver plate, mutated cell phones, and other things. Anyone that obtains them and performs some required procedure would end up being pulled above the gray fog at some point, hanging by the door of light. This was a random selection. It didn't point to a specific target. I don't know if I'm lucky or unlucky. However, why was it named quintessential divination? Why was it named quintessential divination and arcane arts of the Qin and Han dynasty? Was it randomly made up by the influenced humans, or was it really passed down from the Qin and Han dynasty era? From like way back then. It's not that it's impossible if that when the stars are right, prophecy is true. If it corresponds to the... I'm trying to not lose it. I'm trying to stay focused. What? Was it really passed down from the Qin and Han dynasty? If it's not that it's impossible, if the when the stars are right prophecy is true, and if the corresponding to the creator, the oldest one, then he has always been in deep slumber underground. He was like in the ancient times, a time that was far more ancient than the ancient times. As for Sephira Castle, it was said that it was a manifestation of the parts of his body. This is a sanctuary or escape pod. In the beginning, an escape pod? In the beginning, the oldest ones was on the one hand waiting to awaken and destroy the world. On the other hand, he was trying to influence reality with a tiny amount of constant fluctuations. By dismantling the ritual and making the other arrangements, wouldn't that be somewhat contradictory? This is kind of hard. That prophecy must have been made by the humans that were influenced by him. Klein stretched out his right hand and lightly knocked on the edge of the long model table, stuck in the conundrum that was temporarily impossible to answer. Soon he remembered a sentence that some things... No coffee? Yeah, no, we're not drinking coffee today. Qin and Han dynasty is 2,000 plus years before us. That statement was, whatever separates will definitely converge, and whatever converges will definitely separate. Those things were, the ancient sun god, Amon and Adam's father, deliberately separated his negative personality. Beyonders who were close to the ground or encounter some corruption would gradually form a brand new self. Fuck am I reading? After reaching the moon, Emperor Rizal's personality had changed a little without him realizing it. Many of the 22 Beyonder pathways were conflicting, just like the Demoness and Hunter. Perhaps the creator, the oldest... Wow, okay, so now the creator is like the oldest one. So perhaps the creator, the oldest one, was an amalgamation of the contradictions, and he could only relieve this problem by sleeping? Klein had a certain guess, but he was unable to verify it. He wasn't even sure if the oldest one, who would awaken when the stars were right, as spoken of in the mythical legends in his previous life, was the creator of all things who splintered into everything into present-day myths. This required more clues and more evidence to confirm he couldn't just rely on his own guesses and imagination. It's not like I'm a visionary, Klein thought in a self-deprecating manner. He then cast his gaze upwards. It was almost compromised solely of gray nothingness. There was some grayish white clouds floating there. There were still many things I need to confirm. Yo, what's up, Dr. Z? There are still many things I need to confirm. For example, I almost lost my place. For example, I need to confirm, is the so-called Chernobyl a sanctuary created by humans after the awakening of the oldest one? Or that the Beyonder characteristics of the 22 Beyonder pathways really originate from the oldest one? I feel like we've been under that interpretation this whole time. The Beyonder characteristics of the 22 pathways really originate from the oldest one. That's what we've been led to believe. Another would be the positions of the constellations. Is it actually normal, or is it abnormal now? No, it's Chernobyl. Yeah, there are still so many things I need to confirm. For example, is that so-called Chernobyl sanctuary created by humans after the awakening of the oldest one? No, it has to be the original Chernobyl. Another would be in the positions of the constellations. Is it actually normal? Is it abnormal now? Does the 1,368 apocalypse correspond to the amount when the stars are right? And what happens when the stars are right? And finally, the origins of the first blasphemy state, and what the fuck is on the moon? And what exactly is on the moon? Oh my god. What is on the moon? Thinking of this, Klein suddenly stopped tapping his fingers and softly said, for example, the hometown of the elves, the legendary western continent, whether it exists or not, why can't anyone go there? As in America? Western continent? The western continent? The elven... Whether it exists or not, and what can anyone go there? The answer to his question was a long period of silence. He slowly leaned back and rested his arms on the armrest. After a few minutes, Klein closed his eyes and had an idea, or rather, he decided. After he successfully revived, he planned on staying in the Forsaken Lands of Gods for some time to seek out some answers. Just as Emperor Rizal had said, many of the answers... Oh, my back. As he said, his back hurts after reading for a while. Just as Emperor Rizal had said, many of the answers were in the Forsaken Lands of Gods. Blaster Amon had wandered here for more than 1,000 years to explore the city, to explore the history that surpassed the first epoch. Furthermore, if he kept heading east in the Forsaken Lands of Gods, he might reach the legendary western continent. Klein cast his gaze outside of the ancient palace as he looked in the distance. To him, staying in the Forsaken Lands of Gods from time to time was a type of strategy. Wait, sorry. We're inverted, so I was like, wait, okay. Western continent is Asia. It's west of America. Wait, isn't America west and Asia east? Europe, Forsaken Lands of the Gods to the east of the... Oh my god, my geography. My geography is ruined. Oh man, you can tell I'm bad at geography, okay? Hello, let's see which country easiest from... I'm definitely on the right side of the hemisphere, okay? I don't know about you guys, but I'm on the right side of the map. I see that a lot of Americans say that I'm on the right side of the map. The real map is America's on the left, rather than it being the other way. Wait, where's... Dude, I don't even... For me, Asia's on the east. For me, you guys are on the east, America's on the west. Okay, well, I assume from Cuttlefish's interpretation, right? Somebody has to agree with me. Who's an American? Who can stand by me? Think of it like Lowen is a Briton, so dude, I need a map. Wiz is from Facebook. Wait, didn't we say we hate the Facebookians? We said earlier. We said fuck them. I'm sorry, Wiz, if you're watching. I think I might actually stop after this chapter. I need to chill. Thankfully, dude, this is so hard to process right now. Thankfully, the avatar's Amon, who knew that I'm soft-hearted and had been wiped out. That I have the hiccups. I don't know. Weast? Let's look at the map after this chapter. Okay, we'll look at the map after. To him staying, we'll actually look at the Earth map right now. Thankfully, the avatar's Amon, who knew that I'm soft-hearted, had been wiped out. The corresponding information was also not propagated because of the existence of concealment. If not for that, Amon might end up directly using the lives of Benson, Melissa, Leonard, and Miss Justice to threaten me. I don't even dare to think of such an outcome. The king of yellow and black who wields good luck has finally shown its powers. Definitely good luck. Phew, even though I want to leave the forsaken lands of gods, I don't have a solution now. I have to barge into the place where the dark angel is sleeping. Really? Klein shook his head and felt that even if he could resurrect, he would be facing all kinds of dangers. No matter how he thought about it, a scholar view would last long if he were tracked by wouldn't last long if he were tracked by kings and angels. The king to the matter was the Evernight goddess was still digesting the uniqueness of the death pathway. She could only spare a limited amount of powers for infiltrating the forsaken lands of gods. Once the angel of time who wields the authority of error was prepared, it was nearly impossible to accomplish what had happened today. On the one hand, I have to seek help from the other possible existences when I successfully revive. I will attempt to use my marionette to recite the honorific name of the Lord of Storms, Eternal Blazing Sun, the God of Knowledge, all of them. The God of Knowledge and Wisdom. Let's see if they have any means to descend into the forsaken lands of gods. They had fed off... My brain is shutting down. They had fed on the ancient sun god back then, so they definitely do not wish for Amon to obtain Sapphire Castle. True. On the other hand, since the Scholar of Your potion had been completely digested, I'll have to consider becoming a miracle invoker. As long as I have an angel status and becoming a complete mythical creature, my situation will be much better. At the very least, I'll be able to withstand a wave of Amon's ravings when facing his true body. Klein decided to use the spirit medium to spy on the terrifying maggot cluster of the main peak of the Hornicus mountain range. Once his spirit body recovered, and that's where he gets Miracle Invoker. He recovered from there. He would obtain the knowledge corresponding to Miracle Invoker. Oh, shit. It was highly likely that it was a half full of the Antigonus family. Wow. It was highly likely that it was... So, Antigonus. It's highly likely that's Antigonus. It was highly likely that it was a half full of the Antigonus family. After considering his future plans, he looked around and answered the Crimson Stars at one time. The Tarot gathering will proceed as usual today. He wanted to see if Mam Hermit, Mr. Hangman, and the others could provide him with inspiration and allow him to be revived from far away from Amon. Of course, it was necessary to use an ingenious excuse. After responding, the world above the great fog became extremely quiet again. Klein sat at the seat of the fool, temporarily with nowhere to go. After a moment of silence, he leaned forward slightly and used his right hand to support his head, looking straight ahead. On the long model table, a variety of delicacies and exquisite candles appeared. As for the high-backed chair around it, they became even closer in style to the current times. One figure after another appeared. One of them was an elderly man with a loud voice and silver strands in black hair. Silver strands in his black hair. Another was a... Let me read this. After a moment of silence, he leaned forward slightly and used his right hand to support his head, looking straight up ahead. On the long model table, a variety of delicacies and exquisite candles appeared. As for the high-backed chairs around it, they became even closer in style to the current times. One figure after another appeared. One of them was an elderly man with loud voice and silver strands in his black hair. Another was a woman who was nearly 50 years old. She had an Asian I'm sorry, other people? She had an Asian face with short hair and that only reached her ears. Some of them were young men who were playing with their phones and Some of them were young men who were playing with their phones and enjoying sumptuous foods, while the others were young ladies who were laughing and joking. Behind them, new figures appeared one after another. It was a gray-eyed... Oh, man. Oh, man. Behind them, new figures appeared one after another. It was a gray-eyed nun with a receding hairline and Dally with her blue eyeshadow and blush. With a smile on their face, they surrounded a long, warm table surrounded by candlelight above the grayish-white fog. They chanted happy and commented on the delicacies from time to time. Klein maintained his expression and posture as he propped his hand to the side of his face and silently watched the scene in stillness from an extended period of time. I'm sorry, did he see his family and then see his new family here in Backland? Oh man. Is that what that is? Was that what that was? It's so painful. She is her mom, easy standard Chinese mom haircut. He isn't managing them to see them again. Oh man, I'm about to fucking cry. I'm about to cry. I think we're gonna stop our read through there today, man. I'm about to cry. Oh, that was so beautiful. Yeah, he saw them, right? Like he saw his loved ones again. Oh man. Oh shit. Let me do my timestamp. Let me do my timestamp. Give me a sec. I'm not okay. Wait, before we look at Google Maps, let's look at artwork. Let's look at artwork. Holy shit. This is wild, man. I think I lost my voice. I'm losing my voice. There should be a spoiler for LT Mark. I'm pulling it up right now. Let's pull this bitch up. Alright. Let's pull this bitch up. Alright. Let's see. Hold up. Discord. We are reading Ritual next time. All right, man. Let me go on Discord. Fuck. What the fuck? Supposed to be Hawaii? Is this Hawaii? Lacha Island? The archipelago? No, we'll finish now. Everybody gotta go get some rest. Hey, it's been a while. That's right. We all deserve some rest. It's been like 4 hours. You guys deserve some rest. Wait, so Amon took Klein from Backland is somewhere here. Somewhere here. And then, woo, they went over here. They went to where some of you guys are right now. Giant King's Court. Oh, I see it. Giant King Court as at the border, right, where the ocean is, right? And behind the Giant King Court, they're like, oh, there should be some form of ocean. For spoilers, we cropped that. You guys crop something? There's more spoilers. Okay. We cropped that. You can kind of see Africa. This is, bro, hold up. What's Africa? Is this Africa or is this Africa? Wait, is this is United States? Remember the plan's right. My brain is fried right now. Balam is south. Balam is south. Oh, I see the Berserk Sea. This is the part. Got it. This is where like, oh, there's like some crazy gap, right? That like separated two. Okay. Oh, I see it. This is the One Piece arc right here, right? This was the German Sparrow arc. This was the One Piece arc. All the tiny little clusters of islands. Got it. Look, Pazu Island, Demir Island. Oh, Bansi Island. Okay. Wayport. Potato? This is a crazy ass fucking map. Is this Mexico? This would be Mexico. Man, this looks like Texas. Is it Texas? No, Texas would be a... Man, I'm bad at geography. I'm sorry. So this is where we're at. So Amon and Klein landed here. And this is not Russia. This would be Europe. We were in London over here, and then we took like a ferry to go to Paris or something like that. My fellow SEA didn't make it to the LOTM world. Is that, wait, Southeast Asia, SEA? That's Southeast Asia? Southeast Asia did not make it. So Amon brought Klein here. We went through the Giant King's Court, and we traveled. Wait, how the fuck did we travel all the way to Chernobyl in like half a day? You keep prop under the water, 2BH? Probably somewhere over here. So this is the Northern Sea, Sea of Ruins. I remember this, the Berserk Sea. It was like, there's like a giant missing void. That's the Berserk Sea. Antonell Mountain. Wow. I wonder how long Cuttlefish has been saving this. Stealing distance. Oh, you're right. We did say Klein's like, can't you just steal the difference? He's like, why would I do that? So he probably was stealing the distance. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. With the door? Got it. It is the Amon effect. Wow. Is there any other artwork I can look at today for today's stream? No, right? I think that's it. Holy shit, man. This is Russia. This is where some of you guys, damn Western continents all, it got fucked up, man. So this is where you guys live right now. This is where all you Eastern people live right now, right? To my Eastern viewers, you guys in chat. I know some of you guys live on that time. You guys think it's like 5 a.m. All those spoilers, can you look at? Open after 1067. I'm sorry, what did we get to today? Oh yeah, we can look at it. Okay. So this is Chernobyl. You know what? There's actually one game this reminds me of. There's one specific Nintendo game I've played when we're looking at the ruins of a past civilization. Fucking Amon. Oh, that's his smile. If you guys have played Xenoblade, there's a very... No, never. I wasn't gonna spoil anything. Never. Ah, it's his serious face? Oh, no, it's Klein's face. Never. I wasn't gonna spoil no game. Oh, shit. Dang! Oh, my God. That's getting bad. What the fuck is this pose? Holy shit. This is cinematic as fuck. Oh, man. Oh, wow. So this is the ruins of Chernobyl? Charlie in a chapter, there were hints of them spoilers on the map, but easy was too hyped to notice. The animated would be so peak. Bro, I would lose my fucking... No, not I would. I will. Dude, I lost my voice. I'm like... I'm going down. Geography quiz for easy. Let's see. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna get an F on that one. You give me a geography quiz, I'm gonna be like, yeah. That is badass as fuck. Can I make this can this be a thumbnail? Can I make this a thumbnail with like Chernobyl in the background or something? Bro, this is crazy. I Wait, it's all there? Always has been. Oh shit, dude. That is crazy. Oh my god. Dude, can we even make that an emo? Wait, hold up. Is it... I don't know. Wait, have that... I would love... I do want to make this an emo. Wait, hold up. When you finish the volume, you can have a... I'm gonna fail that quiz. I'll make another... You know what? We're gonna run it back. You know what? Nah. Let's do a quiz with Wiz. Let's do that. Let's do a quiz. But you know what? But it's gonna be like an open discussion and we can both choose our answers. No? Just put nuclear symbol, spoiler warning. That can be a good thumbnail. Non-spoilery if you don't know. Wiz actually sent the meme or a similar into your general chat back. No fucking way he sent that. The meme is a thing Wiz wanted to use as a thumbnail. Dude, I would instantly be like, wait, this is Earth? I would have known that right away. No shot he would have made that a thumbnail. This is so fucking wild, man. Oh, you can see the windmills. Wow. Jesus. Holy shit, man. You have to pass on your own? Yeah, we do it. No, I was not to like for him to help me, man. I don't mean it because of that. We can have like, it'll be like Jeopardy. Oh, maybe we'll do it. You know what? Let's do like a Quizlet or something. Not Quizlet. What's that one thing? Is it Quizlet? There's that one thing people join when they do quizzes together and everybody can play. There'll be so much more art and animations and videos that we can send out. Probably. It's definitely going to be a lot more. I think I can use this as a thumbnail. I think I can use this. I can use this. I think I can use this. Oh, Kahoot. We should do one giant ass Kahoot and all of us join. All of us join. They'll be funny. And you bet your sweet jippy I'm gonna be making fun of all you motherfuckers when you get a lower score than me. I'll be like, well, my score isn't low as blank username. I'm like, oh, your score is so low, bro. You're not even in the top 10. But me and Wiz, we're gonna be the top. I'm gonna be top 1, clearly. Wiz, you might be like 3 or 4, but I'm clearly gonna be 1. Probably no one can understand what's the city. Yeah, no one's gonna know what this is. I think this is safe to put. I'm biting my words, huh? I think I'll make this a thumbnail. I'd help make the test. I think we should do that. That'd be so fucking. You know, it'd be crazy. No, I have an idea. We get every LOTM content creator. We get everybody. We get all the content creators. Or as many as we can, clearly, because probably some people might not want to do it. But I think that'd be a fun, cool thing that everybody does. And then they choose if they want to upload it or not. I think that'd be cool. I think that'd be cool. I think that'd be sick. I think we can do that. I think that'd be a damn fucking awesome, tacular, amazing idea. Huh. I can work. Wow, look at that. Damn. But a lot of them are on different points in the story. You know what? Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think Lumian Central. I think he's done. I think he's done. Right? He's done. He said he wanted to make a video with me back then when episode 1 was coming out. I haven't. Yeah, we clearly haven't done something, but that can be fun. I'll be like all of us, dude. This was fucking crazy. I had a pimple right here and it dried up. This is crazy. I can't stop looking at this fucking artwork. This is Chernobyl. He done it all. Yeah, I know he done it all. So I think he can join us at least when I finish book 1. Actually, easy. Actually, what? Oh, he done it all. Like he's already done this stuff. Like he's already done like a video. Do you have a little bit of time? We have a little bit of time. Yeah, we have a little bit of time. All right, I think I'm gonna end the recording there, right there, though. I'm gonna end a read-through part. You could do a volume 4 side story. A side story? 1 chapter? Wait, no, we'll save the chapter. We'll save the chapter for next time. Is that what the one of the new Star Stories that came out? Oh no, we'll read it after newly released. Okay, you know, I'll read it tomorrow. I got you. I'll read it tomorrow. Probably not right now. I need to chill. I need to chill. I need to relax. I need to fucking digest this because this was some crazy. My voice. This was some crazy ass shit, dude. Wait, Volume 4 was released? I think those were some of the new side stories that were announced after people found out that the previous side stories were like BL AI generated stuff, I think. But this was good. Okay, let's look at Google Maps. I'm gonna prove all you guys. Wait, hold up. Hold up. Let's look at Google Maps. Okay, give me a sec. Give me a sec. Open image. Okay. Okay. Okay, I think we're good. Don't. No, I know. No, I know. That's why I switched scenes. That's why I switched scenes. No, it's right. I just looked up an image. Win Valley Translate on Twitter. Oh. Hey, you know what? Thank you for being very considerate, Mick. Like, hey, man, you should be careful. No, that's right. I just looked up a image. Just took me to like an Amazon picture. I think it's a Google image. All right. Okay. So this is it. Oh, am I even recording? Yeah, I'm recording. Okay. So this is that up here. It's this part. United States. Oh, I can see it. Oh, what the fuck? This I ain't from the eastern side. I'm a westerner. I'm a westerner. I'm not an easterner. I don't know what none of this is over here. So this is Fana Potter part of Mexico? No, Mexico got taken out. And parts of South America. Is that what that is? Sonia Island is Greenland? What the fuck? What the f— When Def died, he destroyed Mexico? That's crazy, dude. He's like, I'm gonna create the Berserk Sea. Goodbye, motherfuckers. He fucking took all... Dude, he even took out part of... Yeah, he took out part of Africa. Wait, where's Africa? I'm sorry. Dude, my geography is so bad. So, we basically clipped Mexico. There's probably like a little bit of Mexico, right? Also, like this little piece right here. There's probably like a little bit of Mexico left. Like right here, like a little bit. It's right like a little bit right here, right? And then the rest of this down here is South America. Africa is the bottom of the bottom. This is Australia. This is where everybody's upside down, right? This is the wrong side of the world, Australia. This is the upside down part, right? Yeah. They still searching for the Western continent. They swimming with the fishes. Mediterranean Sea is gone, bro. Hold up, bro. I don't know that much of geography. I don't know what's the I don't even know where the Mediterranean Sea. I'm not even gonna pretend I know what that. I'm not even gonna pretend I know what that joke is referencing. I don't even know what that means. Just Forsaken Lands. Is all of this? Right? Because it does like a little curve. Wrong side of the world. So, oh, that makes so much more sense. Dude, back then, bro, I thought this shit was separated, bro. You know what's crazy? I know I'm not the only one. Up until high school, bro, I would confuse Africa and Australia. No, I'm dumb. I think up until high school, I think I'd confuse South America and Africa. I'm like, wait. I thought under us is Africa. Oh no, it's South America. What? And they're like, wait, Africa? And it's like, wait, Russia and then China? Wait, it's all together? Well, and then I was like, the fuck? Then where's Australia? I thought Australia would have been Africa. It's like, what the fuck? It's his own thing? Bro, I remember that shit clicked when I was a teenager. I'm like, whoa. It's like, the earth is cool, dude. Sorry. That was a little side story. This is crazy. I can't stop looking at this. Yeah, it was definitely an American moment. It was definitely an American moment. It's like, oh man, that's what it feels like to, dude. There's so many funny skits of comedians just interviewing like random ass Americans, and they literally don't know geography. They'll be like, "What part is this?" Oh, Kentucky, and like it's so bad. It's so bad how Americans, like, don't get me wrong, like people in America are educated, but a lot of us, I don't know, man. Some people just don't know their geography. I'm not trying to diss. But this is crazy. I can't get over this though. Oh, Chernobyl is up here in Russia. Wait, so when we landed, we were like here, and we went through all these regions. God damn, Amon stole this entire distance in half a day. In half a day, he stole all of that fucking distance? I'm sorry. Holy shit. Again, Chernobyl is in Ukraine. Yeah, it's right. I actually don't know where's Ukraine. Is it this green part? Under? Right here, right? Is this it? The green part? Right next to it. I think it's this part of the green part. More to the left? Oh, I see it. Oh, I see it. I think that says Ukraine, right? Okay, I think it says that, bro. I think, right? Okay, all right. We're gonna leave it there. Chernobyl was the first in Soviet Union. Now, oh, drop counter, Mike 2. All right, damn. All right, I guess we'll leave it there, man. I guess we'll end it. I'm kind of overwhelmed, man. I can see why Cuttlefish said he was so looking forward to this volume. That is crazy, dude. Wow. Actual round of applause, man. Cuttlefish has been waiting so long to reveal this. That's crazy. The fact that he had all this shit since volume 1. Wow. What is West from America? Oh, wait, you're right. The Forsaken Lands of Gods? We end up back over here. Oh, wait. West? China. No, Japan. You call me a what? Antician. You call me an Antician? Oh, shit. I'm part of the Republic. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Wait. That's where Klein... No, Klein is part of Intis. Yeah, we're part of Intis. Wait, no. We're chill. No, wait. We're part of the Lowen Kingdom. Oh, man. Oh, hell no. Yeah, Asia? West is Asia. Damn, you know what's crazy? This is like a, just me kind of like, it's not a slight brag, but it's like I feel privileged and honored to go from like United States and be able to visit, I think this is London, Europe, this part right here. It was between, I think, Germany and then visit China. I think it was like Beijing, Shanghai, and Japan. Like, when you put it in terms of, like, length, that is some crazy-ass distance, man. That is wild. Wow. Dear Lord. All right, we're going to end it there, man. That was amazing. That is crazy. This is definitely a good volume, dude. All right, man. We're going to end it there. I'm going to see all you beautiful people really, really soon. You did an Amon? We definitely did them on. I stole some distance right there. Like, we're like just zip zapping. But I'm gonna let you guys go. You guys have a beautiful day. I'm gonna go rest. I'm gonna go digest what the fuck I just read. Good stream, man. Good fucking chat, man. Bravo to you guys. And then everybody watching the VOD, man. Fucking God bless you guys. God damn, man. Blessed. Praise the fool. Absolute, literally absolute sipping. I know now why you guys keep spamming that fucking emo. That is literally what he just did right here. Holy shit. I feel like I should leave it on that note. That's crazy, man. All right, you guys have an amazing day. I had an amazing fucking stream. 4.5 hours strong. 3 hours reading, but the other 1.5 hours was Bond and like all the other stuff. Trailer reacts. I have an amazing time. Thank you guys for all the crazy ass memberships. I think we got like 15 members that stream. And then I think somebody else joined prior, man. So that was like 16 members. Dude. Again, truly, I appreciate all of you. You guys have an amazing day. Get some rest. W chat, W stream. I'm gonna see you guys all very, very soon. Peace, and have an amazing day.